Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto has a high lightning affinity part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Konoha. A 6-year-old Naruto was fuming and stomping around his apartment in anger. Why he was angry? Well, given the state of his life, it's pretty much justified. Being only 6 years old may have been a factor. What are the odds of being one of, at most, 9 people in the world to have a monumentally powerful demon sealed inside of them? Naruto's got one. Some might consider a hidden reserve of monumental power a good thing. The only problem for Naruto was, he was hated for it. Granted, the hatred wasn't directed at him but to the demon fox, but he still got hated by proxy. Unfortunately, as the only logical outlet for that hatred, Naruto spent most of his life getting treated like a whore in a nunnery. What made this oh so worse was, the damned demon fox could talk to him. Not to mention that the stupid demon in question got his kicks out of the pain and suffering that comes with the life Naruto led. Wahahaha. Yes. Hurt the child even more. His pain fuels me, said Demon roared in his head while eating imaginary hated villagers like eating popcorn. Oh, you love it, don't you? Naruto said to himself. They said that one of the things that will shape you in life was friends, or rather the people around you. The Kyuubi was no friend, but unfortunately, was the closet thing Naruto had literally and figuratively. And Kyuubi was a bad influence. Of course. I would rather watch you tear the villagers apart, but you don't. So this is the only entertainment I have, but beggars can't be choosers, said the demon, and Naruto growled. Why? Why is my life like this? Was I a murderer in a past life? A rapist? What did I do to deserve this? Naruto screamed to the ceiling. You were my kid before this, Kyuubi said, and Naruto gasped. What? Naruto said loudly. Just kidding. Muhahaha. Kyuubi laughed the laugh of the clinically insane. Fuck you, Naruto roared. Well, if you want me so badly, come here then and rip the seal of my cage. Then I'll let you fuck me in any way you want, Kyuubi said. You're a boy. Male. I don't do men, Naruto said and tried to tear his hair from his head in frustration. PFT, you wish. Just because I'm the strongest demon, does that mean I'm automatically a male? Sexist, Kyuubi said. Huh. Was all that Naruto could answer. What the heck does Kyuubi mean? Does that mean that the Kyuubi's a girl? What do you mean? Hey. The Kyuubi stayed silent, however. Oh well, I finally get some peace of mind at least. Naruto sighed. Small house somewhere in Konoha. A large crowd of ninja gathered in a small house, quietly plotting. Soon, a prominent figure, no doubt their leader, rose and the crowd grew silent. Finally! The time has come for us to avenge our loved ones, the man said. He wore a cloak and an Oni mask so as not to compromise his identity. But how are we going to do it, leader? A random ninja asked. We won't be able to make a move on him with the ANBU protecting him. We're just regular ninja. Ah. That's where my genius comes to play, leader said and took out a scroll. I have managed to acquire for myself a forbidden assassination technique from Kumo. The crowd gasped. Yes, my comrades. This technique is the perfect for assassination, leader said to the stunned crowd. What does it do? Another random ninja asked. The skill works like this, leader began to explain to the enraptured crowd. The technique was named as the lightning technique, God's divine wrath. It works like this. A custom target seal is made and placed on the target, marking them for death in a very literal sense. Then, the caster will create another seal for them to channel their chakra into in order to initiate the technique. A storm cloud will appear above the target and strike them with lightning. In essence, you could say that it was the almost perfect assassination technique. The lightning bolt is such a powerful force of nature that only a charred corpse will be left, and the target seal would be eradicated, leaving no proof. There was also the added bonus of the technique not using lightning-natured chakra, which could be traced, but an actual thunderbolt, which was faster, more powerful, and untraceable. These two factors combined would leave people thinking that it was nature or God's wrath that killed the target, and not an assassin. However, the technique wasn't without its disadvantages. The first was the use of the target seal. The target could realize that he was tagged with a weird seal he had never seen before and might be able to do something to disrupt it. The second was the preparation time. Manipulating weather patterns to set up a thundercloud took time. The third was its area of effect. Its efficiency was greatly reduced when the target was indoors. Well, that makes sense. Would you go out when there's a storm outside? No. If you do, then you almost deserve a lightning bolt, naturally or not. Also, the range was within the storm cloud. It was true that you can't outrun lightning, but you sure as hell can outrun its storm cloud. So if the target is out of the storm cloud's range, then it will be useless. The fourth is the amount of chakra needed and its range. The farther the caster was from the storm cloud, the more chakra is needed and the longer it will take to form the cloud. Ah! What a splendid technique. It fits the boy's punishment. A punishment from God. A random ninja said, and everyone nodded their heads in agreement. So, what are we waiting for? We must begin preparations immediately, Leader said, and everyone cheered. Naruto was pissed again. All because of the stupid villagers. First, he tried to buy some milk from a store. The store owner decided to sell him the expired ones even though he asked for the good ones and was close to begging the jerk. But no! He wouldn't relent, and Naruto threatened to call Sarutobi on him. The store owner got mad and kicked him out, but not before Naruto threw the spoiled milk at him and managed to get some of the curdled product into his mouth. Second, he wanted to buy some kunai for throwing practice. The store owner sold him bad ones too. They were blunt and rusty. So Naruto pinned the store owner's hand to the counter using the very same kunai. And now, he had a mob chasing after him. Time to run! And run he did until he bumped into someone. It didn't matter, he kept running. Hee, I've tagged the kid, the man that Naruto bumped said to himself. Now we can start your punishment, demon! Naruto was extremely pissed. He finally managed to escape the mob by running to the top of the Hokage monument, and now, it was raining. Heavily. From the looks of it, it was a huge storm. Cracks of lightning could be seen from the cloud. Gah! They just keep coming, don't they? The misery and pain? Naruto screamed towards the sky and a lightning struck a few meters near him. It's that all you have for me? I've had worse. Come on! Naruto screamed again. Kit, as much as I respect your take-no-shit attitude, can't you do it someplace else? Someplace safer and dry, like indoors perhaps? Kyubi said worriedly. Oh, so now you decided to talk, huh? Naruto said, and Kyubi rolled her eyes. So are you really a female? Yes, I am. Now can we leave? Kyubi said, and Naruto was shocked by this revelation until another lightning bolt missed him by a few meters once again, causing him to jump. Gah! Fuck you, Kami! You gods are cruel, doing this to a child like me! Naruto screamed. God damn it, Kit! You're going to get fried if you stay here. And would you stop cursing the gods already? Kyubi said. She may be the strongest demon, and in her release form, lightning like this was just an itch. But when you're stuck inside a kid and have the majority of your powers locked away, a simple lightning strike can kill you. Cracks of lightning started to converge into one, and a bright ball of lightning could be seen hovering above them in the cloud. Kyubi's eyes went wide, knowing what would happen. I don't care. They think they're the only ones that can screw with me? Well, screw them. Screw them all. Naruto shook his fist towards the massive ball of lightning. You think that just because you're all high and mighty you could do anything you want? Huh. Well, this is Naruto Uzumaki telling you otherwise. Naruto screamed again. The ball of lightning chose that moment to unleash its built-up energy. What erupted from the center of the cloud, directly above Naruto's head, was more like a pillar than a bolt of lightning, centered around the little orange-clad boy. We're screwed, we're fucked, we're dead, shit! Kyubi screamed. Mindscape. Boom! Crash! Crack! Naruto woke up in the familiar environment of his mindscape, the sewer prison that kept the Kyubi at bay. What the hell is that sound? Naruto asked aloud. Normally, when he arrived here, he would hear the sounds of water dripping. But now, the place looked like it was going to come down. Some of the walls were cracked and flashes of electricity could be seen coursing beyond it, while some were riddled with holes and Naruto saw some kind of a storm outside of it. God damn it! Kyubi screamed and Naruto ran towards her. What's wrong? Naruto asked and saw that the Kyubi's tails were spread like a peacock's and was glowing with red chakra. The chakra was seeping all over the place. What's wrong? What's wrong? I'll tell you what's wrong! Kyubi screamed at the blonde boy. Naruto just simply sat down and crossed his arms together. Your eyeballs just got blinded by the intense brightness of the lightning strike. Not that it matters anyway, as your eyeballs are now fried. Oh, and that also applies to your whole body. After this, you will be such a badly cooked human that not even carrion-eating animals would look at you. Naruto looked around while scratching his head. Huh, that's not something you get to experience every day, Naruto said, and Kyuubi wished she could do a facepalm right now, but she has important matters to attend to. So how come I'm here anyway? That's because I pulled you in here. Time in here moves slower than outside. Your body's being fried right now, and my regeneration is the only thing that's keeping you alive. And it's a good thing that I brought you here, if not, you'd gone insane from the pain. Kyuubi screamed at him. Ah, Naruto said. Wait, I thought you want me to be insane? Aye. Kyuubi was at loss for words. It was true, making the boy insane would definitely help her gain freedom. Why didn't just leave the boy outside? Could some part of her want to protect the boy? Did she have feeling for a human? Shut up. So what now? Naruto asked. I'm kind of busy here. Kyuubi screamed at him. It was true, in the real world, the freak lightning strike that hit Naruto lasted quite a while. It didn't just hit Naruto for a second or two, but enshrouded him for full 10 seconds. The lightning was now destroying Naruto's body while Kyuubi was trying to heal it, and thus, Naruto's body was in a constant state of being broken down and repaired. Right now, Kyuubi was pumping 8 tails worth of chakra through Naruto's body to keep the regeneration going strong enough to try and keep Naruto's body together. Sorry kid, either you die as a human, or live as a demon, Kyuubi said. Naruto was about to speak when Kyuubi released a sudden burst of chakra that sent Naruto careening back into the real world. Sarutobi Hiruzen was as usual, doing his most hated job, paperwork. He desperately wished something exciting would happen to pull him away from doing the job. Today he got his wish. It seemed that a mob had gathered and chased one of his charges around the town. It's been a while since this happened. Last time was 3 years ago, and I thought I'd made that incident a crystal clear example of what would happen if they do this again, Sarutobi thought. Sarutobi growled and got up to deal with the mob personally. If the kid was unharmed, he would just break their hands. If the kid was hurt, he'd kill them all. Naruto managed to escape them, fortunately, but Sarutobi kept his word. The people that were in the mob had their hands broken. Sarutobi was about to start his search for Naruto when suddenly a storm cloud appeared and began to rain heavily on Konoha. Strange, there weren't any clouds just a minute ago, Sarutobi mused. It had been a bright and sunny day in Konoha. It had looked like it was going to be one of the hottest on record. I hope that Naruto managed to get indoors, Sarutobi mused again when he heard a familiar voice shouting on top of the Hokage monument. Sarutobi's eyes and mouth widened in shock at seeing the subject of his musings shouting at the storm cloud. Of all the places, he chose the highest place in Konoha? Sarutobi said, and his heart almost stopped when 2 lightning strikes almost hit him in quick succession. Unboo! Get that kid away from there! Sarutobi's orders boomed and all of his elites quickly raced towards the blonde boy, soon to be a lightning rod. Alas, none present in Konoha was faster than lightning, and sure enough, a huge lightning strike crashed down on Naruto as he stood atop the fourth's head. All who witnessed it waited with bated breath. The huge pillar of lightning, no doubt the biggest thunderbolt anyone had ever seen, lasted for a full 10 seconds, but to all of them it was an eternity. Strangely though, the lightning pillar of such power and size should have destroyed the fourth's head, but it didn't. It was as if Naruto was blocking the lightning from going any further. Then the witnesses grew fearful as a red aura began to spread from the boy, condensing into separate tails of chakra, 8 in all. Cat Anbu, who was a few meters ahead of Sarutobi, grabbed his left hand in pain, and Sarutobi knew what it meant. Before anyone could react, the blood-red pillar of lightning vanished as quickly as it had appeared. The next second, however, a ball of crackling electrical energy exploded out from Naruto, reducing the Yandame's head to rubble. No one moved, their shock held them in place. Go! 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 Sarutobi regained his composure first, and barked his orders again before all the Anbu disappeared, along with the Hokage. Naruto groggily sat up and rubbed the top of his head. His body felt weird, really, really weird. For one, he didn't feel tired at all. Granted that it was hard for him to get tired, but this was different. It's like that time he drank that damned drink named for something. He couldn't remember the name, but the drink kept him up for 3 days straight, and he had enough energy to go on a non-stop pranking spree of the whole village. After that, the drink became outlawed in Konoha. Hell, it had been disapproved of before. Now even owning some of the stuff carried a heavy sentence. Why is my skin all yellowy? Naruto thought, holding his hand up to his face for inspection. A sudden spark shot between his index and middle fingers. Instinct made him yell and pull his hand away, but he was shocked, or rather surprised that he wasn't shocked. He'd felt nothing. Looking down at his, now semi-naked body, he realized that he could see sparks jumping all over the place, even running across his skin and arcing from his limbs to the ground. Having a weird idea, Naruto reached out in front of himself and was even more surprised when his arm extended beyond his normal reach, despite the fact that some part of him expected it to happen. What? Awesome. Kyuubi, did you do this? Naruto asked. Shut up, Kyuubi said before she went silent. Naruto shrugged it and waved a fist to the sky. Ha! Take that, you stupid gods! I took the best shit you got, and I came out of it like a boss. Naruto screamed and he heard the Kyuubi groaned inside him. Just then a breeze carrying a weird smell flew into his nose and caused an itch. Naruto rubbed it, but this only irritated his nose even further. AAA. Naruto! Sarutobi screamed and gained Naruto's attention, but it was too late. Oh, grande Shicho! Naruto sneezed hard, a loud crack was heard and Naruto was gone in a yellow lightning. Naruto? Naruto! Sarutobi screamed to the heavens. The same small house somewhere in Konoha. The crowd of ninjas were all sprawled on the floor, all of them dead or dying from chakra depletion. Finally! Revenge is served, Leader said with his final breath before joining his comrades. An island near Kiri. A lightning bolt slammed into the ground, hard, and Naruto appeared, face down. Ugh, what now? Naruto raised his head and viewed his surroundings. This didn't look like Konoha. Oh, I see you're not done, are you? Naruto got up and shook his fist to the skies again. It's that all? A small storm cloud appeared above his head and began to launch miniature lightning bolts at him. What the? Is that it? Naruto said and cupped his mouth with his hands, trying to hold back his laughter. Come on. I ate your freaking godly thunderbolt. And now you send me this? Naruto said before he burst out laughing at the storm cloud's efforts to harm him. After he had his laugh, Naruto realized that the storm cloud had disappeared and his skin had also turned back to its normal, fleshy self. In other words, he no longer looked like a living lightning bolt. Hey, he thought, could that be what I am? A living thunderbolt? Taking another look at himself, he realized one more thing that drove the question of his new super awesome electric skin thing to the back of his mind. Why the hell do I look like a 12-year-old? He shouted to no one in particular. Kyuubi, did you do this? Still no reply. And I'm naked too. So now that you know you can't hurt me, you decided to attack my dignity instead? Bastards! Naruto said, and he shook his fist to the sky again. The small cloud then appeared again, and assaulted him with lightning and rained on his head. Alright, fine, not a problem anyway, Naruto sighed as his head was drenched and turned around and saw. A red-headed woman was staring at him with her mouth wide open. They both stared at each other for a moment, but it felt like an eternity. Suddenly, the mini-storm cloud released a huge thunderclap, which brought the both of them back to the real world. Naruto was scrambling his head for an answer that hopefully wouldn't cause the woman to inflict bodily harm on him. Fortunately, an answer came up. I just got back from a nude beach, Naruto said with a smile. An island near Kiri. I just got back from a nude beach, Naruto said with a smile. The red-headed woman, however, closed her gaping mouth and glowered at him. The red-headed woman looked to be in her 20s or so, Naruto thought. He couldn't really pinpoint the exact number. Oh well. The woman, however, has what has to be the weirdest hair he ever seen in his life. Her hair was red but not really red. More like auburn-colored and was waist-length. She has light green eyes, however, has 4 long bangs and one of it covered her right eye. Naruto wondered why it covered her eye. Maybe she has a scar on her right eye. She also has large breasts. She was wearing a plain blue shirt and short black pants. Judging from her sweating, she must have been exercising or maybe training prior to Naruto's arrival. There's no nude beach around here, the redhead said. And did you just travel using lightning? There's no one here when she and her family moved here before, so they can safely say that this was a private island, property of the Terumi clan. But more importantly, the kid just got here by lightning. Well, of course not here. I just got back from it to here using the lightning. Naruto cooked up another lie again, and the woman glowered harder, knowing that it wasn't the truth. Naruto realized this and decided to be smart about and scratched his head. Okay, I wasn't from a nude beach. I was from my home. Can I at least have something to cover myself? If there's one thing I know about being a guy is that being naked in front of a woman tend to have a 50-50 chance of getting his balls kicked in, Naruto replied. Why should I give you anything when you're a stranger? And naked too? The woman crossed her arm across her busted chest. Oh, that's right. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said with a smile. The woman's eyes widened for a moment. Uzumaki? But they were destroyed ages ago. Well, not the whole clan but only their country. But the kid's not a redhead, is he really is an Uzumaki? The woman thought. She may sound a little paranoid, but can you blame her? Her life so far wasn't a fairy tale, and the kid's weird. He just got here using lightning. And May hated lightning. That tended to make you a bit paranoid. May decided that maybe she could try to be civil to the kid for the moment. May Terumi, May said, and Naruto's smile grew wider. And now we know each other's name, so that doesn't make us strangers anymore, right? Naruto said with a smile, and May raised an eyebrow at him. Come on. My little junior's feeling weird, okay? And I think this situation is making him weirder. Naruto said, and he pointed down to his crotch, and May looked down to see. Oh. That's on a kid like him? May stammered in her mind. Fine. Follow me, she said with a blush, and turned around and started to walk. However, what May didn't saw was that the moment she turned her back on him, Naruto's smile faded and a depressed look replaced it. Naruto looked at his arms, which cackled with lightning, and sighed before going after May. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said to two more people in front of him. Currently, Naruto, May, and what has to be her two relatives, probably parents, are in front of a small house. May quickly got inside and appeared moments later with man's clothing for him. Naruto then quickly wore it, but he realized that it was too big. It probably belonged to the man in front of him. The man has brown hair and a ponytail, black eyes, and vertical slash scar on his right cheek. He wore a black plain kimono and crossed his arms in front of his chest. The man looked to be in his 30s, and judging from his body language, he's a warrior. Takeshi Terumi, the man said in a deep voice, and Naruto realized that Takeshi was looking him over from head to toe. The other person was a woman standing beside Takeshi. She has solid red hair, unlike May's mixture of brown and red. Her hairstyle was quite normal compared to May's, however, and it was plain, and it was tied in a ponytail too. She has light green eyes, and she wore a plain red kimono. Mai Terumi. Nice to meet you, Uzumaki-san, Mai said in a soft voice. Well, at least she's nice. So what brings you here? Takeshi asked, and Naruto scratched his head. A sneeze? Naruto answered honestly, and Takeshi raised an eyebrow at him, while Mai giggled. The truth, boy, Takeshi commanded, but Naruto wasn't affected. Having countless adults screaming at him and demanded him things has toughened him up. Besides, he wasn't scared, as he did tell him the truth. It just wasn't detailed after all. It is the truth, Naruto said, and Takeshi glowered. It just wasn't detailed, Naruto said again, and his stomach decided to save the situation by growling at everybody. The sound that came from the stomach was monstrous. In fact, had any Konoha citizen that has faced the Kyuubi heard her growl and survived, they could say that the sound from the Kyuubi in Naruto's stomach was the same. It makes one wonder if the sound was actually Naruto's stomach, or the Kyuubi herself. Takeshi was taken aback by this. May let out a small eep, while Mai just laughed. Naruto himself looked astonished by his stomach. That's a new record, Naruto said sheepishly, and rubbed his stomach. Mai stopped her laugh and wiped away a tear. Well, Uzumaki-san, can I call you Naruto? May asked, and Naruto nodded. We're just about to have dinner. Why don't you join us? Naruto nodded again with a smile and followed them inside the house. Naruto ate what has to be the best dinner he ever had so far. It was normal food for once, and not instant ramen. Heck, he only ate ramen because that's the only food that he could get. The only restaurant that accepted him and not poisoned him even if they do was the Ichiraku Ramen. And that place only sells ramen. So now you know why he liked ramen so much. He didn't have much choice in the matter. It's been ages since he had rice. Seconds, please. Naruto asked and held his bowl at Mai, and she filled it with rice and smiled at him too. This action made Naruto felt good because no one has ever done this for him before. Mai gave him back his rice bowl, and Naruto just stared at the harmless food in his hand. What's wrong? Is there something in the rice? Mai asked with concern, and Naruto shook his head and smiled at her, and resumed eating. Mai, however, saw his eyes in the brief contact they had. It was teary. So, Naruto, how exactly you got here? Mai said you arrived in a lightning, Takeshi asked, and Mai, who has changed into a plain blue kimono, nodded. I don't know. I got hit by a lightning strike, and after that, I somehow survived. And then I sneezed, and the next thing I know, I was in front of your daughter, Naruto replied. Naruto didn't feel comfortable telling them the whole truth yet. Sure, they were nice people, but Naruto has been fooled by kindness before. And yes, Mei is the daughter of Mai and Takeshi. Takeshi eyed the boy, who resumed eating and knew that the boy didn't tell the whole truth. How you survived the lightning strike and got sent here anyway? Do you use any technique before this? Or do you have a bloodline or something? Takeshi asked, and Naruto shook his head. Well, you do have a bloodline now, the demon inside him said, and Naruto perked up. This gained Takeshi's attention, but Naruto gave him a weak smile and resumed eating. You finally said something? What happened? Naruto thought. Saving your ass took out much of me. We'll talk later, Kyubi said, and Naruto nodded. The dinner was silent for a moment before Mai sighed. Mei clearly didn't want to talk to let her parents deal with the situation. Takeshi knew that he couldn't brute force the answer from the kid and decided to give him some time. Mai, however, doesn't like a silent dinner at all. So Naruto, where are you from? Mai asked, and Naruto stopped eating but stared at his rice. Sarutobi once told him that should he ever find himself to be outside of Konoha's gates and met a stranger, he was not to tell them where he's from. Sarutobi told him to remain silent and wait for ninjas from Konoha to come for him. Mai realized his silence meant that he wasn't going to answer. We're from Kiri, Mai stated, and Naruto looked at her. He didn't expect for her to tell something about them. He expected the give and take policy. Tell something about you, and they will tell something about them. Naruto thought that should he refuse to tell them anything, they would refuse too. We were Kiri ninjas before. Takeshi and I were jonins, but Mai here was a chunin, Mai stated. Takeshi looked angry that Mai was so open about it, and opened he was about to say something when Mai glared at him. Not a sound came from Takeshi. Naruto, however, was thinking hard. If memory serves him right, Jonin was a high-level ninja while Chunin was the medium. Wait. You said where? What happened? Why do you quit? Naruto asked, and Mai looked uncomfortable. Mai smiled and said, we were hunted down by our own village. Naruto widened his eyes in shock. This is because we have a bloodline. Well, Takeshi and I have one. Mai here have both of our bloodline, Mai said and smiled at her daughter. Mai smiled back weakly. Naruto, however, has conflicted feelings. Their situation was almost like his. And Mai was so open with him. He felt bad if he didn't do the same. But he wasn't sure if he was ready. Did you run away because of what you have inside you too? Mai asked and looked at him. Naruto perked up, shocked at her deduction. Mai then smiled at this, knowing her guess was right, and Naruto looked away. He felt uncomfortable at how easy it was for Mai to see through him. Suddenly, sparks of lightning arced from him, gaining everyone's attention. At first, it was small, but then larger ones started to appear. I'm sorry, Naruto said and dashed outside. Everyone was silent for a moment before Takeshi spoke. So what do you think? He's not from Kiri, that's for sure. His reaction shows that he didn't know about the purge, Mai answered. Kumo then? It seems to me that his bloodline is lightning-based, Takeshi asked again. I'm not sure if he really is from Kumo. But yes, his bloodline revolves around lightning, much like the Hozuki clan is revolved around water, Mai stated. So what do we do with him? Mai asked uncomfortably. Mai looked at her and smiled. We'll let him cool down for a moment, Mai said. And if he decided to leave? Mai asked again. Then that is his choice, Takeshi stated. If he arrived with lightning, I doubt there's much we could do to stop him from going anyway. Mai didn't say anything but replied with a dissatisfied look. Arg! Naruto screamed as he let out another blast of lightning at the water. God damn it! He said while releasing another blast. He was at the beach now, releasing his pent-up anger in the form of lightning towards the water. Naruto was having a lot of conflicted feelings right now, and his newfound abilities didn't help either. Kit, Kyubi said, and Naruto closed his eyes. What? Naruto asked internally. What were you thinking back there before we got hit by the lightning? Why didn't you run away? Kyubi asked. Why do you care? Naruto asked. Because it seems to me that you were trying to commit suicide. I don't believe that you're dumb enough not to take cover, especially when two lightning almost hit you, Kyubi stated in an angry tone. And now look what happened to you. Weren't you supposed to be happy? I did gain a bloodline after all, Naruto said. A part of me is happy, yes. But another part isn't. We could have died back there, Kyubi said angrily. Well, sure, this happened because of me. But all of this shit wouldn't happen if it weren't for you in the first place. Naruto screamed at the sky angrily, and arcs of lightning started to appear from his body. If it weren't for you, it wouldn't be up there on the Hokage monument in the first place. The QB growled for a while before going silent, and Naruto was again confused. QB usually took everything that Naruto threw at her. Cursors, blames, threats, and she usually responded with her diabolic laugh of hers. But now. Hey, a voice said, and this surprised Naruto, which caused him to involuntarily release the burst of lightning. Kaya! Mei screamed, and Naruto quickly got up to see that she was on the floor. She was electrocuted by his burst, but she wasn't badly harmed. Shit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, Naruto said and went at her. This, however, proved to be a mistake as more lightning strikes Mei. Mei screamed again and Naruto backed away and the lightning stopped hitting her and instead, arcing to the ground. Naruto looked horrified at what he has done while Mei groaned in pain. I didn't mean to. I can't control my powers yet. Fuck you, Mei said while getting to her feet. You shouldn't have come here. I fucking hate lightning. I hate the thunder and I hate the storm. I hate you, she said before running back to the house. However, Naruto saw something in her eyes before she left, fear and hatred. Naruto slumped to the floor and held his head with his hands and ruffled his hair roughly, sending large arcs of lightning everywhere. Growling fuck. His life was messed up before this. And now, it was surely destroyed. Hey, Naruto heard a voice said and he turned to look at the source. It was Takashi. Sorry about her. She wasn't always like this with other bloodline users. Your case was special after all, Takashi explained. Great, everything is about me, is it? Naruto said angrily. Kami seemed to hate him very much. First to put the demon inside him, turn him to lightning, send him to a place where there are people like him in a way, but only to have one of them hate him because of what he is now. Maybe, Takashi said and sat down in front of him where the lightning didn't reach him. She has a bad past involving thunderstorms. They both looked at each other for a moment before Naruto asked. How bad? Our clan was purged during a thunderstorm, Takashi said with a grim line. And not just ours, other clans were destroyed during thunderstorms too. Naruto's eyes widened at this. Our enemies doesn't have any bloodlines and they knew that fighting us straight on would be a disadvantage to them. So they decided to assassinate us during the thunderstorm. Naruto groaned and shook his head again. Great, so she must think that I have something to do with the storm. Naruto thought angrily. And then Naruto realized the real reason why Mei hated him. She must have thought that I'm here to kill her and her family. Naruto thought, and he clenched his fist. Takashi got to his feet and turned around. Don't beat yourself about it, kid. It's not your fault. Mai and I don't blame you for it, Takashi said, and Naruto felt a bit better. Come inside and sleep this through, Takashi said and walked away. Naruto reluctantly got up and went after him. Kami just kept throwing shit after shit at him, and it doesn't seem to stop anytime soon. The next day wasn't any better. Kyuubi still kept silent. Mei avoided him while Mai and Takashi went out of the island to get supplies. So he was left alone to ponder about his situation. Like how to control his newfound powers. So far he hasn't had much luck. It turns out that his lightning powers are very much related to his emotions. Get angry and big-ass lightning bolts appear. Get happy, well, he hasn't much luck on being happy yet. And he still doesn't know whether he can turn into pure lightning again or not. It seems that being pure lightning is his way of moving large distances in a short time. But there came the question, even if he can travel, where would he go? For years he dreamed of running away from Konoha, but to where? Was the outside world better than Konoha? He didn't know. Hey, Mei called out to him. Naruto turned around to see her in her training clothes again, but this time, there were bandages on her skin. Time for dinner, she simply said and walked away. Naruto sighed and followed suit. Dinner that night was uneventful. Mei was silent the whole time, and so was Naruto. Mai, the ever-silent hater, chatted with her husband. Mei finished her meal quicker than usual and excused herself. Naruto also excused himself to catch up after her. Both Mai and Takashi shared worried looks, but they decided to let things happen first. Wait, Naruto said to Mei in the corridor to the rooms. Mei stopped but didn't turn around to face him. Naruto sighed and spoke. I want to say that I'm sorry for hurting you. Mei didn't respond. So I'm sorry for hurting you. That's all, Naruto said and was about to walk away when Mei spun to face him. I don't care about your apology, Mei said, her voice seething with anger. Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. I want you to leave. What? Why? Naruto asked back. Is it because I hurt you? I didn't mean to. Really? Or is that just an act? Mei shot back and Naruto was surprised, but he knew what she meant. I'm not a ninja. I just got my powers, alright? Naruto said through gritted teeth, angry at the accusation. You expect me to believe that? A lot of ninjas already reached Chunin at your age, Mei said. I'm not. I'm only 6 years old, Naruto said, and Mei scoffed and crossed her arms. Really? A 6-year-old in a body of 12 years old? Mei said, disbelieving. A lot of shit happened to me, alright? Naruto countered, and Mei looked away, still not believing him. This angered Naruto even more. It's not fair to blame me for the deaths of your clan. I didn't have anything to do with it, Naruto stated. It doesn't have to be you, Mei said without even looking at him, and Naruto's clenched his fists in anger. But you're still blaming me for something I didn't do? You're a fucker, you know that? Naruto said, and received a right hook from Mei. Naruto stumbled to the wall but quickly stood up again and glared at her. You don't know anything. You don't know the kind of shit that I have to go through, Mei said through gritted teeth. Naruto spat blood on the floor near her feet before glaring at her again. That's true. I didn't know the pain of losing loved ones, but that's because I don't have much to lose in the first place. But that doesn't mean I don't know shit about suffering, Naruto said in anger, but Mei wasn't affected. What does he know anyway? I've known about your story, that you were discriminated because of your bloodline and you witnessed the massacre of your clan. So let me tell you mine. From the day I was born, my own father sealed a demon inside me, Naruto said, and Mei looked shocked from this. Yes, Naruto knew, as Kyuubi told him on the first day they met in an attempt to break him. I'm from Konoha and the host for the Nine-Tailed Beast. Ever since I was little, I was discriminated, hated, prejudiced, and bullied. I've had countless assassination attempts on me, and you know the most memorable one I've had? I was poisoned in a restaurant, and no one did anything to help me, Naruto said, and Mei looked horrified with each word that came from Naruto's mouth. You at least have a family. I don't. And do you want to know why I got hit by lightning in the first place? Because I wanted to die. But it seems that Kami wasn't through with playing with me, because here I am. Naruto said, his eyes started to tear. All this time, they hated me for something that I didn't do, for something that I wasn't. They called me demon, but I took solace in the fact that I didn't do any of the things they said I did, the fact I wasn't a demon, Naruto said, tears running down his cheek. But now I am one, and they were right all along. Before this, I don't have any trouble touching people, and now, Naruto said as arcs of lightning started to appear from his body. You see? Now I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know what to do. Mei didn't know what to say. She didn't think much of the kid Naruto's feelings before. She never did. And now she regretted it. I thought that you understood that you're different. But obviously I'm wrong, as you're just the same as everyone else. You're just the same as the people that discriminated your own clan, Naruto said, and ran away. The lightning arcs followed him. Mei felt a massive guilt inside her, and she fell to the floor, crying. All this time, she couldn't see past her own suffering to see that Naruto too was suffering. And worse, she blamed him for the sins that he didn't do. How could she be so foolish? So selfish? Argh! Naruto screamed towards the heaven while releasing a large beam of lightning. You fucker! Take it back! Take it back! Naruto screamed and threw more bolts at the sky, hoping that he could hit the being that caused him so much suffering, or at least, remove his curse from him. I'm not your toy, Naruto cried, and he sat down and hugged himself. To make it worse, a storm cloud was heading towards the island. A thunder could be heard, and Naruto cried even harder. What did you do? Takashi screamed at him, and Naruto turned around to face his angry look. Naruto struggled to answer, but Takashi cut in. There are active hunter ninjas active everywhere. You just alerted them to where we are, Takashi said, and Naruto looked horrified. It seems that Kami wasn't through toying with him. 11 Kiri hunter ninjas sat around in a bonfire. All of them were eating their dinner. Their 12th member came rushing to the leader of the group. Sir, I saw bursts of lightning from an island near here, sir, the ninja said. And? Hunter leader said in a bored tone. Lightning was a normal thing. Why would he fuss about it? The lightning came from the ground, sir, the ninja said again, and hunter leader perked up. More specifically, it came from the island where we speculated some of the bloodline remnant is. It could be that other hunter groups have engaged them. Hunter leader smiled and tossed his food into the fire. Well, let's not let them have all the fun, shall we? He then got to his feet and wore his mask while the rest followed suit. And it seems that a storm is heading towards the island, the ninja stated. Hunter leader cracked his neck. It seems that Kami is on our side again. The rest of the squad cheered and they began to move. I didn't mean to, Naruto chanted again and again to himself, as he rocked his body back and forth. Mei didn't fare any better either as her phobia of thunderstorm kicked in and she was gripped with fear, unable to move. Damn it! Guys, let's go! Takashi said as he tried to grab Mei, but she refused to go outside where the storm was raging while Naruto released arcs of lightning, making the task of touching him almost impossible. Mai bit her lip and was thinking of her options. Their bloodlines, although powerful, was severely limited by the heavy rain. Her husband, Takashi, was from the Terumi clan, who uses fire and water techniques to create the boil technique, essentially a melting mist. However, its usage was limited outdoors right now as the rain can reduce its effect. It has to be used indoors, but she was sure that the hunter ninjas would not be foolish enough to engage them inside. Mai wasn't from the Terumi clan, but she was the daughter of Rashi, the host of the four-tailed beast, and gained the bloodline to use lava technique using fire and earth techniques. Again, her lava's potency is reduced in the heavy rain, turning them from melting flaming earths to just normal rocks. She didn't have much time to think about it further as numerous water dragons slammed the house, destroying and flooding it. Damn it! We have to do something. We have to fight, Takashi said, and Mai agreed. They may not be able to use their bloodline now, but they have other elements too. Takashi and Mai soon disappeared in flame flickers, leaving Naruto and Mei alone. Naruto closed his eyes and hoped that everything will be over when he opened it. Mindscape. Naruto was back in the mindscape now. It looked like before, as there are still cracks and holes and a storm was still raging outside of it. However, the sewer's water was now chest deep. Kit, are you just going to sit here and weep? Kyubi said angrily. Her red eyes glowered at him. Shut up. You don't have the right to say anything. You were the cause of all this. Naruto shot back angrily. That may be true, but these people are going to kill you regardless. Are you just going to sit around and let them? Kyubi screamed at him. Naruto clenched his head at the pain from the scream. Let them. Maybe they'll do a better job than everyone else before this. You're a pathetic fucker. Where's your take no shit tough attitude before this? Your crazy and annoying attitude? Kyubi said. It was just a front. A cover. I acted tough because that's the only thing I can do, Naruto replied, and his shoulders slumped. Now you can do something. You have your own power. You command the lightning, the thunder, and the storms, Kyubi said. It's a curse. I won't use it, Naruto replied, and Kyubi growled in anger. In fact, I'm tired of all this shit. I'm tired of everything. Naruto then began to wade through the water, and the seal on his stomach was visible. The spiral seal then formed together in the shape of a black circle, and black liquid started to pour from it. Naruto's eyes began to darken as he approached Kyubi, and the water level raised even more. I'll free you, I will die, we both got what we want, and we both will be happy, Naruto said. And then Kyubi realized that Naruto was broken. The water level represents his hopelessness. Once it reaches over his head, he will drown, and he will be consumed by negativity, Kyubi thought as Naruto inched closer towards the gate. I've dreamed of this moment. The moment where the boy was crushed by the intense negativity placed upon him. But why it felt wrong? I should be happy. What is this feeling? It isn't hatred. This alien feeling. Kyubi though angrily. And then it struck Kyubi. The feeling was similar to how Mito always described it to her. It was. No. She wasn't made for that. She's malice incarnate. Fine. Kyubi roared, and Naruto stopped his advance. But let me ask you this, all this time you were blamed for something you did not do and were not. Now, however, the situation we're in is entirely your fault. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let innocent people get hurt because of you? Kyubi replied. Naruto thought about for a moment. All this time, everything that has been done to him was wrongly justified. It wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything. And one thing for sure, he didn't hurt innocent people, only the ones that hurt him before. But now, if it weren't for him, the hunter ninjas wouldn't have assaulted the island and the Terumi family wouldn't be in this situation. And now, they're going to get hurt because of him. Naruto clenched his fist so hard that his knuckles turned white. Should he go back? No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I do, it won't work, Naruto said again, and more black liquid started to pour out. Then die trying instead of quitting. Die on your feet and not on your knees. Kyubi screamed with such force that Naruto was blown backwards. Naruto got to his feet and stared at Kyubi for a moment before turning back. Once Naruto was gone, the water level started to recede a little bit. Kyubi, for some reason, felt happy that the boy wasn't truly broken yet. Mai and Takashi were now tied by multiple water whips around both of their arms by 4 hunter ninjas, but they managed to kill 4 of them before they were overpowered. And now, they were at their mercy. Well, look at what we have here. The last Terumi and his wife, Hunter Leader said while a lightning flashed across the sky and was followed by the thunder. Racist scum, Takashi said. AUW, that hurt my non-existent heart, Hunter Leader said in a mock voice, and the boys laughed. He then walked towards Takashi and punched him in the guts. Takashi didn't show any response when Takashi punched him again and again until he coughed up blood. You killed my boys, Hunter Leader said. I don't like that. You killed my clan members, Takashi replied. I don't like that. Hunter Leader smiled at the comeback. Well, no matter, you'll be dead anyway. And who knows, maybe we can have some fun with your wife. You did train her well, did you? Hunter Leader grinned at him. You fucker! Takashi spat at him, but it was blocked by the mask. Hunter Leader wagged his finger in front of Takashi. TCH. I planned to be merciful by having you killed first. But now you will die last, Hunter Leader said as he moved towards Mai instead. You monster! You let her go! Takashi screamed, and Hunter Leader was about to touch her when a voice screamed and gained everyone's attention. Let them go! Naruto screamed from the top of the house. Oh, so the son decided to play hero, eh? Well, sorry you're about to lose that game, Hunter Leader said. Sorry, I don't deal with dead people. He screamed this time to make sure Naruto heard him. Naruto gritted his teeth while thinking about what he has to do to help them. But he could do much as 2 hunter ninja appeared from his sides and launched water whips at him. The water whips managed to wrap his arms and Naruto was tied just like Mai and Takashi. Naruto smirked and let loose a torrent of lightning from his body. The lightning traveled to the ninjas using the water whips and electrocuted them. Hunter Leader growled at this and motioned to the ninjas that were binding Mai and Takashi. In a swift motion, Mai and Takashi were brought together and tied using physical ropes. Naruto stopped his flow of lightning, but he was disappointed to find that the ninjas still held on to him. The ninjas were weakened, but the attack wasn't enough to down them. And what's more, a ninja brought Mai out of the house and tied her next to her parents. Well. Looks like we got a package here, eh, boys? Hunter Leader said, and his ninjas snickered. Hunter Leader then sighed before taking out 3 kunais. I told you, you're going to lose this game. He then threw the kunais at Naruto. The first 2 struck his torso while the last was aimed at his mouth, but Naruto managed to bite it to stop it. He then spat the bloodied kunai out. A word of advice, fuckers, you shouldn't play out in the storm, Naruto said and flared his normal chakra all over his body. Everyone readied themselves for what Naruto was about to do, but what happened next shocked everyone. A lightning suddenly struck Naruto and in the process, shocked his 2 captors to death this time. The 2 charred hunter ninjas fell limply across the roof and slid off to the ground. Naruto, however, absorbed the lightning and his body turned into yellow lightning in the shape of a humanoid, Blitz mode. There weren't any definite markings on his body, but except for Naruto's blue eyes, whisker marks and a spiral seal on his stomach, imagine the 9-tailed chakra mode minus the extra seal markings and facial features, except the eyes, whisker marks and the seal on his stomach. And what's more, there seems to be small and thin lightning pillar, storm tail, connecting him and to the storm. 2 of the ninjas flashed through their hand seals, but Naruto was faster and shot out 2 lightning bolts, Derez shot, at them. The lightning bolt hit them square in the chest, atomizing them and made them explode in a shower of blood and very small human parts. What the fuck? A ninja said after seeing what happened. No lightning technique managed to make someone explode so far. Naruto wasn't finished, and in a roar sent his chakra through his storm tail and lightning cracked the storm cloud. Hunter Leader knew what was going to happen and immediately grabbed Mai. Naruto realized this and shot out only 3 lightning strike at the remaining ninjas instead of his planned 4. The 3 hunter ninjas convulsed for a moment before their charred corpse hit the ground with a thud. Alright, that's enough, Hunter Leader said as he held Mai hostage with the kunai poised at her throat. Try to attack me and she gets it. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the ninja, but he couldn't do anything. The hunter leader was too close to Mai and any lightning attack would hit her too. He was thinking of a way to take him down without hurting Mai when suddenly, she caught his attention. Now power down! Power the fuck down! Hunter Leader commanded, but Naruto wasn't paying attention to him, but rather to Mai. Her lips were moving as if saying something. Naruto wasn't a lip reader, but he followed his conscience to interpret her message. I trust you. Naruto doubted about what he thought, but Mei's smile and the look that she gave him confirmed it. Her eyes didn't have any fear or hatred that it harbored before this, and Naruto returned the smile. Let's see who's faster, fucker. Naruto then released a large lightning strike behind him that caused a bright flash of light over the sky. Hunter Leader stared straight into the flash, and his arm that held Mei was involuntarily raised in front of his face to block the bright light. Naruto took this chance to sever his storm tail and leapt forward at Hunter Leader. One of his arms grabbed the hand that held the kunai and brought it away from Mei, and the other hands along with the forearm changed shaped into a sword, lightning sword, and speared through the Hunter Leader's mouth. The result was that the lightning hand speared through his mask and his mouth until it came out from the back of his head. The momentum from Naruto's leap also propelled Hunter Leader and Naruto away from Mei until Naruto landed on his foot a few meters away. Naruto panted heavily before looking at the speared Hunter Leader on his arm. His mask fall off, and Naruto saw something that he will remember for the rest of his life. The Hunter Leader's eyes were wide in shock and horror, as if seeing the Shinigami himself. Naruto was horrified by this and quickly released the head from his arm, and it only served to shock him more. His mouth were now gone and was replaced with a large cauterized hole. Naruto backed away in fear from what he has done and turned back to see the result of his work. The charred remains of the ninjas all have the same horrified look on their faces, and what's worse, they looked like as if they wanted to scream but couldn't. Maybe it was because the lightning killed them before they could do it, or their voice box was destroyed when they were still alive. And then Naruto realized that he has seen the look before this. It was when the first mob had assaulted him, and he gave into rage that he used the Kyuubi's chakra for the first time. The look of pure horror on the faces of the mob was the same. The look that says that he was a demon. No, no, no! I'm a demon! A demon! Naruto clenched his head and shook it furiously. Mei realized this and quickly untied herself using a small amount of lava and head towards Naruto. Naruto saw this and started to back away. Stay away, stay away! I'll hurt you! Naruto pleaded, but Mei continued her march. No, you won't, Mei said with a smile and held her hand forward to touch him. Naruto's head was scrambling to think of something to do, something that won't hurt her, as he hand inched closer. But he couldn't think of anything. And so he closed his eyes and waited for the inevitable. Only to feel the warm touch of Mei's hands caressing his cheek. Naruto slowly opened his eyes to find that his blitz mode has gone, and he was in his human form again. Mei then pulled him in an embrace and hugged him tightly, and began to sing softly. I had a way then, losing it all on my own. I had a heart then, but the queen has been overthrown, and I'm not sleeping now. The dark is too hard to beat, and I'm not keeping now the strength I need to push me. You show the lights that stop me turn to stone, you shine it when I'm alone, and so I tell myself that I'll be strong and dreaming when they're gone. 'Cause they're calling, calling, calling me home, calling, calling, calling home. You show the lights that stop me turn to stone, you shine it when I'm alone. Home. Naruto then began to cry in her arms until the fatigue caught over him, lulled him into sleep. Naruto woke up to weird feeling that he never felt before. It felt that the whole world was swaying for some reason. Then, he felt another feeling that he knew so well. He immediately got up and found a bucket, and released the content of his stomach into it. He then heard a giggle and looked at the voice weakly. It was Mei. First time in a boat, I see? Mei asked and sat his bed. I don't get to go out of my village often, Naruto said and leaned into his bedpost while nursing his stomach. I want to say that I'm sorry for everything, Mei started, and Naruto looked at her. I mean, I should have known to treat you better because we're very much the same, you know. We were both hated for something that's inside of us, but I let my fear and my suffering cloud my eyes to you, Mei said with a weak smile, and Naruto looked at his hands. If there's one thing I know from Konoha's people is that when people is suffering, they tend to lick their own wounds and not others. That's what I hate about Konoha's people. Well, not all of them. But the point is, they thought that they're the only ones that suffered from the Kyuubi's attack. They always told me about the people that they've lost when they beat me, but do they ever ask me my loss? Naruto said sadly. Some said that they lost their parents, but they never bothered with mine. Some said that they lost their brothers and sister, but I never had them. They at least have the experience of knowing them, Naruto continued, and Mei held his hand. Naruto looked at her and saw her smile. Thank you for everything that you did, Naruto. You're a hero, Mei said, and Naruto cried again. Not many have thanked him for his sacrifice of being the Kyuubi's host, and he felt appreciated. Naruto, I want you to know something about me, Mei said, and Naruto wiped his tears. I used to hate my bloodline, you know. I've once thought of how it would be if I didn't have my bloodline. Would it be different? Would I have peace and now hunted down like a vermin? I felt like being inside the body of a demon, and I wished that I could trade it with a human's body. And then? Naruto asked, and Mei smiled. And then I realized that if I joined the people that treated the bloodlines wrongly, then it will not be worth it. I realized that I may have a demon's body, but I have a human's heart. And if being given the choice of having a demon's body but with a human's heart, or a demon's heart with human's body, I'll choose the first. Mei smiled and hugged Naruto. You may have a body of a demon, but your heart is human, Mei said. Naruto felt like somebody has just drained a massive liquid weight inside his heart. Mei then released the hug and kissed him on the cheek, earning a blush from him. You know, Naruto, you're lucky, Mei said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. You're lightning and you can fly among the clouds, free to go anywhere you wanted to. Well, maybe I want to be grounded this time, Naruto said with a grin, and Mei smiled, knowing what he meant, and she got up. Thanks again, Naruto, you've made me lost my fear of thunderstorms, Mei stated. Really? Naruto asked, and Mei nodded. You made me realize that lightning wasn't so bad. In fact, they're actually light in the darkness of the cloud. Their life might be short, but they're powerful and brighten the sky where the sun couldn't shine. It kinda make me feel that they're actually hope, Mei said with a smile, and Naruto returned with an even bigger smile when he understood the meaning. But still don't go outside during a thunderstorm. That's how I got into this situation in the first place, Naruto stated, and Mei chuckled. I know that. I still have my common sense, you know, Mei replied, and the both of them was silent for a moment, not knowing what to say before Naruto spoke. Mei, if we can't find a place that can accept us for what we are, then let's create one. A place where our children doesn't need to worry about their heritage and instead, be proud of them, Naruto asked, and Mei grinned. Alright, she said before she got out. Naruto then sighed happily, finally found a place to belong. He was a bit sad that it wasn't his hometown, but he wasn't stupid enough to keep staying there when he isn't wanted. And Mei's words brought a smile to his lips. How could he forget about it? That there's light in lightning. Maybe, no, not maybe. That this power of his was not a curse, but a blessing. And maybe, Kami wasn't such a dick after all. Land of Waves, 1 month later. It's been a month ever since Naruto gained his powers, or as the rest would call it, bloodline. It was rocky at the start as he was depressed by it and tried to deny it, but ever since he met the Terumi family, he finally came to accept it. It's like they say, when life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. Except that he got a dragon fruit. Dragon fruit was Naruto's favorite fruit, by the way. Now what's left is to make a juice out of it. Anyway, things have finally turned for the better for Naruto. Mei doesn't hate him anymore, and the Terumi views him as a family member. Naruto finally has a family to call his own. Takashi and Mai treated him as their son, and Naruto treated them as his parents. However, Naruto wasn't adopted though, as Naruto insisted on being an Uzumaki. He didn't know why, but maybe it has something to do with Mei. Speaking of Mei, he has this weird feeling for her, but he doesn't know what it is yet. All he knows was that it was a pleasant feeling. Kyubi snorted at him for this, mumbling something about hormones. Speaking of Kyubi. Flashback, 25 days ago. Mindscape. Kyubi, Naruto asked the sleeping giant fox. Well, she wasn't really sleeping, just pretending so that Naruto wouldn't disturb her. Kyubi didn't react at all. I know you're not sleeping, Naruto asked and sat on the dried sewer. The sewer was nicer than the last time he was here, the walls are repaired and there's lighting in the forms of various lights on the walls. Naruto then scratched his chin, thinking for a way to wake the giant up. They say that you should let sleeping giants lie. Suddenly, he remembered. He met a girl who really liked cats back then at Konoha. The girl sang a catchy tune related to cats that Kyubi found to be very annoying. Nyan Nyan Nyan, New York AN, NYN, NYN, Nyan, 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 Naruto sang, and immediately Kyubi's ears perked up. Gah! Shut up! Kyubi roared and sent Naruto tumbling backwards. Alright, I'm awake. What is it? Kyubi said angrily. Naruto sat back and grinned. I knew you weren't sleeping, Naruto claimed, and Kyubi sighed. What is it, Kit? Kyubi said tiredly. She knew why the boy was here. She just didn't want to talk about it. Thanks for screaming some sense in me, Naruto said with a smile, and Kyubi shot him a glance before looking away. She never had someone said positive words to her before. Usually it was demands, begging, and words of hatred. Ever since Kyubi knocked him out of his emo state, Naruto has viewed her in a new light. He now knew that there's good in his tenant. TCH, don't make me regret it, Kyubi replied. Sure. Anyway, I'm here to ask you about my body. What happened exactly? Why I got my powers and why I'm in a 12-year-old body? Naruto asked. Kyubi sighed again and sat down. This is going to be long. Oh well, might as well get it over. The thing is, when that freak lightning hit you, it was destroying your body, and at the same time, to save you, I have to keep channeling my chakra into you. So your body were in a constant state of being destroyed and being healed. Naruto crossed his arms, closed his eyes and nodded sagely with grunts of HM every now and then. Had I kept channeling a steady amount of chakra, chances are, you would survive as human after the lightning strike was over. But I kind of overdid it at the time, turning you into something else, Kyubi stated and looked away. Oh, awesome! Naruto said excitedly, and Kyubi turned to look at him again. Wait, you're not mad? Kyubi asked. Naruto titled his head at her. What for? I could have kept you as a human, Kyubi stated, and Naruto shrugged. Nah, being human is overrated. Besides, normal is boring, Naruto replied with a grin. So you've come to terms with it, Kyubi said, more of a statement than question, and smiled, happy that Naruto wasn't mad at her. Alright then, anyway, like I said, I overdid it and made you older, physically, and turned you into an elemental being. More specifically, a lighting elemental. The thing is, you could have been a different kind of something, like a fox demon. But I guess the presence of the lightning added in the equation results in you, Kyubi stated. Wait, so are you saying that if it weren't lightning, I could have been different? Naruto said, and Kyubi nodded. And what's an elemental being anyway? Elemental beings are a living sentient energy being. They are a collective of energy, or element bound by a will or a soul. The thing is, everyone has soul, right? Kyubi said, and Naruto nodded. Most of us have our soul contained within bodies made of flesh. The elemental beings, however, uses elements as their body and vessel. Most of what you people call spirits and gods are elemental beings. I see. But how does it explain of me having two forms, the lightning and human form? Naruto asked. The elemental beings, or elementals for short, has almost complete control over their element. The strongest elemental's mastery enables them to crystallize or harden their element, and vice versa. Essentially, you could do the same, and thus, you are able to convert lightning to matter and matter to lightning. But that matter is limited to your flesh for the moment, Kyubi explained. Whoa! Awesome! Naruto fist pumped to the air. Usually, elementals preferred their elemental form, but in your case, for some reason, your default form is your human body, Kyubi said, and Naruto nodded. I guess it has something to do with me being sealed inside you. Anyway, so it seems that you are able to eat lightning for various benefits like powering you up or healing you. I suspect that you will be able to recover lost limbs if you consume enough lightning, and you could be immortal if there's constant lightning around you, Kyubi stated again, and Naruto's mouth was wide open. Double awesome! Naruto double fist pumped this time. It is. Elementals are unstoppable when there are plenty of their elements nearby. However, it is not without its weaknesses, Kyubi said. For one, do you know why you involuntarily release lightning? Naruto shook his head. I was about to ask you about that. Well, to get to that we must first cover a few topics. The first is, what do you know about muscle memory? Kyubi asked, and Naruto scratched his head. It has to do with practice, I think, Naruto said, and Kyubi nodded. Quite true. Muscle memory is the way of teaching your body about a task through repetition. In other words, it is an education for your body. For example, try to practice your Academy Taijutsu now, Kyubi ordered, and Naruto pointed a finger at himself. Now? Kyubi nodded, and Naruto got up and sluggishly began his taijutsu. He didn't learn much because the teachers didn't bother teaching him. He had to learn by looking from the kids. As he paced through the steps, he had to remember the steps one by one through his memory. Do you know why you're sluggish? Kyubi asked, and Naruto looked away in shame. It's not because of you, kid, Naruto perked up at this. Everyone starts slow. This is because your mind is telling the body the steps it needs to do. I see, Naruto nodded and scratched his chin. Over time, with repetition, your body will be able to do the steps without many stimuli from the mind to the point that it becomes a reflex and as natural as breathing, or so to say, automatic, Kyubi continued. Now, obviously the human body isn't able to instantly cast techniques at a thought, Kyubi said. You must know, certain animals are able to cast techniques without the use of hand seals. This is because these animals, like the toads at Mount Myaboku, have been able to use chakra longer than humans. Humans are new in the chakra business and thus, their body isn't able to instantly cast techniques with just a thought. Naruto titled his head again. New? But 1 or 2 or 300 and even 1,000 years is relatively young to immortals such as nature, Kit, QB answered, and Naruto would. And evolution is slow. Anyway, that's why we need hand seals. Hand seals is the way of telling your body what technique you want it to cast. Again, over time with repetition, your body is able to do techniques faster and better to the point that less hand seals is required. If you practice long and hard, you can cast techniques that usually require a lot of hand seals with only one hand seal or none at all, QB said, and Naruto looked excited. Now, that covers muscle memory. Let's talk about instincts. Do you know what instincts are? QB asked again. It's kind of hard to explain. Naruto scratched his head again, and QB nodded. Instincts are innate behavior that is automatic and exists inside all of us without learning. For example, take sea turtles. A sea turtle will lay their eggs on a beach and leaves. Their hatchlings then will automatically swim towards the ocean even without any adult turtle to guide them, QB stated. Oh, you mean like motherly instincts in animals? Like how first-time mother cats are able to raise their young so well? Naruto said, and QB smiled. Exactly. You could also say that talent is another form of instinct. Like when someone said that you have the talent or instinct for killing, QB said, and Naruto chuckled nervously. Now, instinct is what enables certain animals to cast techniques without the use of hand seals, like I've said before. In humans, although you can't automatically use techniques, the instincts and talents for certain element is there. This is what you call elemental affinities. An example would be how the blasted Uchiha is able to use fire well because it is in their instinct. So their ancestor must be an arsonist then? Naruto asked while scratching his chin. Must be. Now I've covered the important topics. Can you relate it to your situation? QB asked, and Naruto was silent for the moment before his eyes widened. Are you saying that I have the instinct to automatically use lightning techniques? Naruto said, and QB smiled, happy knowing that the boy wasn't too stupid. Correct. You have the lightning instinct inside you, QB said. You are able to automatically cast lightning without the use of hand seals. However, this in turn became somewhat of a curse to you. Your body doesn't know when you want it to cast your lightning techniques. So it uses your emotions as signal instead. When you're angry, your body interpreted as sign that enemies are nearby and began to release lightning, QB explained, and Naruto oohed. And then finally, what do you know about chakra? QB asked. Not much. I don't understand much what the teacher said, Naruto replied and scratched his head. That's not your fault, really. The teachers at Konoha tried their best to hinder you education. Anyway, chakra is an energy that is generated through the mixture of physical and spiritual energy. It is very versatile as it can be shaped and transformed for various purposes, QB started to explain. Now, normally, creatures generate normal chakra by default. However, elemental beings generate chakra based on their nature by default instead. Do you understand? QB asked, and Naruto pondered for a moment. So are you saying that I generate lightning chakra instead of normal chakra by default? Naruto said, and QB nodded. Go outside and have them teach you other elemental technique, QB ordered, and Naruto complied. Teach me, teach me, teach me. Okay. Mei sighed. Naruto can be annoying when he wants something. Watch me, okay? Naruto nodded, and Mei casted a water technique. Water technique. Violent water wave. Mei casted, and a large amount of water gushed out from her mouth towards the river for a few seconds before Mei stopped it. It's a basic technique, so you should be able to do it on the first try. Naruto, whose mouth was hanging wide open at the display, closed it and nodded. He then did the same hand seal and water technique, violent water wave. And all that came out is a cone of lightning from his mouth. Eh? Naruto said after he stopped the technique, and Mei raised her visible eyebrow. But I did the same thing as you did, Naruto said. I know, Mei replied and tapped her chin, thinking. Do you see, Kit? Your body interpreted as another form of lightning technique and not water technique. The problem right now is to override your instinct, and you're going to need a lot of chakra control exercises, QB stated in his mind. Flashback end. So after much brainstorming later, they all came up with a wicked name for his bloodline, the Reiku, which translates to Lightning Lord. Which sounds very cool and menacing, although Mei argued that the name could inflate his ego to lord-like proportions. Well, lord-sized ego wasn't so bad. At least they didn't go with his suggestion, Raijin, which is Thunder God. Then Mei would have something to be very worried about. Anyway, as wonderful his powers was, for the moment, it kind of sucked a bit. This is because his body interpret everything that he wanted to do as lightning. This includes normal chakra use such as leaf floating, tree and water walking. Every time he wanted to flow normal chakra, lightning came out. And so, he couldn't do normal chakra control exercises. What kind of ninja that couldn't walk on trees or water? QB stated that he is a being of lightning, thus his default chakra is lightning chakra. And thus he was faced with a weird problem. Normal people had trouble turning their chakra into other types of chakra. He has the opposite problem, turning his lightning chakra into normal chakra. This also brings the problem of converting it to other types of chakra. It requires one more step. An example would be, for an Uchiha to cast flame techniques, they have to convert their chakra into flame chakra. For Naruto, however, he has to convert his lightning chakra into normal chakra then to flame chakra. That's why he couldn't cast the water technique earlier. It was because he didn't do any of the steps. And thus, he couldn't do normal chakra control. He has to do an improvised version of it including emotion and mental control. And let me tell you, an energy being like him that can discharge dangerous lightning bolts at people on a whim requires perfect chakra control to live normally. And Naruto sucked at it due to his high reserves. It's like trying to get a drop of water out of a hose. Medium chakra control wasn't enough, as he still discharged lightning bolts that can knock out an adult off his feet. Not to mention about emotion and mental control. His new parents recommended meditation, but come on. I mean, he's an energy being. Energy. Not to mention lightning. Have you ever seen a frozen lightning before? Never, right? And that's the problem. He's the epitome of movement. Mai sighed with a smile. She always wanted another child before. This was because she wanted to have variety, so to say. Mei was the quiet, calm and serious type while Naruto was the loud, active and goofy type. It's always fun to see those two personalities clash. Well, she got her wish now. Stay there and be quiet. Mei ordered Naruto, trying to get him to meditate. Naruto complied and became quiet, sitting cross-legged, hands on his knees and eyes closed. 10 seconds later one of his opened to spy on Mei who was watching him like a hawk. Congratulations. That was 3 seconds longer than last time, Mei said with a sweet voice yet threatening. Care to try longer? Naruto closed his eyes again longer this time. However, his eye muscles then twitched as he was about to open them but Mei raised a finger and said a firm no, and Naruto cancelled his action. About 2 minutes later of Naruto managing to keep his eyes closed, Mei sighed. Convinced that he finally got it, she turned around and Naruto immediately rolled on the spot on the ground. Mei noticed the sounds and immediately turned around and saw Naruto was in his meditating pose again, but he was dirty with blades of grass all over him. Mei raised a skeptical eyebrow and decided to test him, and so she turned around again. Naruto rocked back and forth on his butt and held his legs to balance himself this time, and Mei immediately turned around and caught him in the action. What are you doing? Mei asked in her sweet yet threatening voice while Naruto looked at her innocently. Meditating, Naruto replied easily. Really? Last time I checked, that wasn't the standard meditating pose, she shot back and cracked her knuckles threateningly. Well, my mojo told me to do this, Naruto answered with a cheeky grin and Mei rubbed her temples. Alright, fine. It seems that standard operating procedures don't apply to you so we have to do something else, Mei stated. I know that this is hard for you, considering that you are energy, but you must do this to overcome your instincts, you know. I know that, but I just can't sit still. It's like I'm on constant sugar rush, Naruto explained with a pout. Mei tapped her chin, thinking for a moment when suddenly, she got an idea. Naruto had problems with large bodies of water as his body has large amounts of electricity flowing in him than regular humans have. Contact with bodies of water usually makes his body involuntarily discharge the electricity in his body quickly all over the water that it leaves him drained. This situation is similar to when a person casted a technique that requires more chakra than what their body can provide, resulting in chakra depletion that, at its worst, can cause death. Now, the thing is, it is only fatal if he made contact with open and especially flowing bodies of water. This is because the discharged energy will escape away from him and thus constantly draining him. However, if he's in closed bodies of water such as a bathtub, the discharged energy will return back to him, and then escape and return to him again. Nevertheless, the constant energy discharge is taxing to him. The things that can affect him was heavy rain that will constantly drain him of energy, medium to large cup of water that when thrown at him, causes a mild shock, ironic for someone like him, a bucket of water that knocks him out, for emergency use only, and obviously water techniques. Thankfully, Naruto doesn't have this problem with small amount of water on him like a drizzle, light rain, light shower or sponge baths. If not, well, let's not think about it. So, May devised a new type of meditation. Instead of normal meditation when you just sat and empty your mind, Naruto has to do it with cups of water on his head and hands. If he moves, the cup drops and shocks him. It was sadistic and painful, yes, but like they say, no pain, no gain. But of course Naruto developed enough fine control that he can move around without spilling the cup. It irked May to find him doing the but rocking again with the cups of water balanced on his forehead and knees. So instead, he was placed on a wooden board on top of a large somewhat pointy rock in the middle of a small man or rather May-made pond near the river. So far it worked. Thankfully. After 3 months, Naruto finally developed enough fine control again that he was able to rock the wooden platform he was on back and forth, left and right heck, and he can do circles without falling into the pond. He then heard a very loud smack sound and turned around to see May, who had just face-palmed herself hard. Naruto grinned and May walked away while mumbling about new methods, leaving Naruto alone on the river. Naruto, not having anything to do, carefully got away from the pond when he noticed a girl came out from a bush, carrying a small white rabbit with red eyes. The girl has to be about his age, mentally, has black hair that was tied in a pigtail, pink eyes and wore a simple yellow dress. "Hello, little girl," Naruto beamed at her. She was wary for a moment before replying with a soft hello of her own. "What's your name?" Naruto asked. "Nami," Nami told her name. "Oh, like this country's name," Naruto nodded. "So what's the rabbit's name?" "Kamizilla," Nami simply said. "Oh, that's a," Naruto suddenly choked when his brain finally registered the rabbit's name. "Cute name." "I don't want the name to be cute," Nami pouted. "I want it to be scary." "Yeah, right. The only thing that will be scary about the rabbit is, if it suddenly has Sharingan," Naruto thought, noticing the somewhat eerie look the rabbit was giving him with its blood-red eyes. "I mean cute in a scary way. I said cute so that the great and menacing Kamizilla doesn't eat me," Naruto said and pretend cowered near the rabbit. "Nope. Kamizilla is offended and demands sacrifice," Nami claimed in a somewhat creepy tone, and raised Kamizilla above her head. "Aha," Naruto nodded nervously. "Gah." Nami then flailed the poor rabbit around and mimicked monster mannerism, as if she was the monster and not her rabbit, and Naruto, catching on to what she wanted to do, played the helpless tiny victim. 10 minutes later, Nami was panting on the ground and her rabbit was a few feet beside her, munching on some foliage while staring at Naruto. Naruto, who didn't have to do much in the pretend play, crouched and stared at the rabbit suspiciously too. Suddenly, the monster rabbit lunged at him and Naruto, surprised by this sudden action, reacted. "Zod up!" The rabbit exploded in a shower of blood and meaty bits over both of them, causing Nami to go slack-jawed and Naruto to release the barely audible oops. Nami then wailed while Naruto was racking his brain for an excuse as to why he just mercilessly vaporized a pet in front of its master. And then, he got an idea. Warg. The lightning monster Naruto finally defeats Kamizilla. Naruto did his own monster mannerism and flailed around. Nami, however, proceeded to pound him continuously. "You weren't supposed to be the monster. You were supposed to be the tiny victims," Nami said while continuing her assault. "Not fair. I want to play the monster too. And you can't expect Kamizilla to win all the time. I know its name got Kami in it, but it's boring for it to win every time," Naruto shot back while weathering her beatings. "Do you have to kill him?" Nami stopped her assault and gave Naruto a cold glare to which he chuckled nervously for an answer. Then, he got a brilliant answer. "I only killed him once. He killed me 43 times already," Naruto shot back. "The numbers were just made up though." Nami wailed and cried even harder and ran back to the village, leaving Naruto alone with rabbit remains all over him. "Oh boy, I'm so going to get it, am I?" Naruto said to himself, and then he noticed something on the ground. One of the rabbit's eyeballs was staring at him. Naruto felt a shiver run down his spine and he prodded the eye so that it would look away. But it rolled back to its original position to stare at him. "I knew there's something wrong with you," Naruto said and ran to the village too. "You vaporized a rabbit?" May asked angrily. "What in the world made you do that?" "She gave it a threatening name. So I assumed that the rabbit was threatening too," Naruto shot back in defense. May raised a skeptical eyebrow at him. It helps that the rabbit has long teeth and red eyes. I could have sworn that it was the Sharingan, Naruto added. A Sharingan on a rabbit? Mei crossed her arms and tapped her foot. And how in the world the rabbit got the Sharingan in the first place? Mei asked, and she has a gut feeling that she's going to regret asking the question a little bit. I don't know. Maybe those stuck-up Uchihas decided to go wild for once and got really drunk that they fucked a rabbit, Naruto replied while scratching the back of his head. Mai and Takashi, who was nearby, laughed hard while Mei was holding back her laugh. That or maybe they're just into bestiality, Naruto added. And that's a bad thing? Kyubi asked in his mind. I didn't say that it was bad, Naruto replied. What in the world possessed you into thinking that? Mei asked, and again, she should have known better than to ask. Because I once met an old guy who claimed that a teenage boy with very colorful mohawk hair is his son on the basis that he once got so drunk that he fucked a parrot, Naruto easily said, and Mai and Takashi laughed even harder and clutched their sides. Mei was clutching her sides too but managed to suppress her laughter to a minimum. If it helps in my defense, I was too engrossed in playing my part as the rival monster, Naruto said and crossed his arms. Mei was rubbing her temples now. It kind of annoyed her that her parents indulged in Naruto's antics, and Mei was the one who has to set him straight. Naruto-kun, you just traumatized a kid. How can you be so cruel? Mei asked in her signature sweet yet threatening voice that promised pain if you don't do what she said. But of course, Naruto operated on a different logic. People, especially guys, usually got scared shitless when she acted like this because she has the means to back it up. Naruto wasn't afraid at all. It's just that he really liked it when Mei does that voice. That, and Naruto was very tolerant to pain, so threats of bodily pain doesn't faze him. Naruto drooled a bit before he snapped back to reality. Hi! I will make it up to her. He saluted and immediately left. Her parents snickered behind her, and Mei spun around to face them and pointed a finger to them. You guys could have helped. It wouldn't be as funny like that, Takashi said, and Mei sighed. I swear, Naruto has rubbed on you guys, she said. And that's a bad thing? Mai smiled. Rabbit, aha! Naruto said and dove into a bush. A wriggling bush, and a few moments later, Naruto came out with a black rabbit with red eyes in hand. Naruto then eyed the rabbit for anything weird when he noticed the same red eyes, and he eyed the rabbit suspiciously. You're not Kamizilla's brother, are you? Naruto asked, and as expected received no reply. Oh well, Naruto shrugged and held the rabbit high to the air. Now let's go and meet your new master. A few moments later, Nami came to the river to bury her fallen Kamizilla and met with Naruto, who was having a staring contest with the rabbit. Naruto noticed her and turned to face her. Oh hey! Naruto beamed and waved the black rabbit in front of him. Name eyed him suspiciously, but once her eyes laid on the rabbit, she was sold. Still, Nami was its Tsundere and she won't give in easily. What do you want? Nami crossed her arms. I want to make it up to you. Here, I got you a new rabbit, Naruto said and handed her the rabbit, but she refused to take it yet. Don't want to. If it comes from you, it must be weak and can't stand up to Kamizilla, Nami said. And how would you know that? Naruto asked, and Nami looked flustered to find an answer. Well, you should know, this is Kamizilla's brother, Godzilla, Naruto claimed and held the rabbit high to the air. He's brother, how would you know that? Nami asked. Well, I found him nearby the spot where Kamizilla was defeated, Naruto said, and Nami glared at him. Anyway, Godzilla is Kamizilla's older brother, the type of brother that bullies yet loves his little brother, and I'm sure he would like to avenge Kamizilla. Are you? Nami's eyes went puppy-eyed at the story, somewhat touched by it. However, she immediately steeled herself, crossed her arms, and looked away. No! Damn, this girl is a hard sell, Naruto thought. Are you sure you don't want him? He is probably the most badass rabbit in town. None can match his fluffiness power level, Naruto claimed, and Nami perked up at this. Fluffiness power level? Nami said with interest. Yes. Godzilla's power level is over 9,000, Naruto said excitedly at the last part, and held the rabbit high again. Nami was doing calculations in her mind about the large number. She's only 6 and only learned numbers up to 100. But still, she was a smart girl and knew that 9,000 is a very big number. Fine, Nami said, and Naruto handed her the rabbit with a grin. But as compensation, you will let Godzilla avenge Kamizilla. A fine? Naruto said nervously. A few moments later. Arf. It's so fluffy I'm gonna die, Naruto said and turned around a few times and dropped to the forest floor with his tongue out. Yay! Nami jumped around a few times and sat on the floor, releasing Godzilla in the process. Godzilla then hopped on Naruto's chest and glared at him. HM? Naruto said and looked at the somewhat menacing rabbit. Chomp. It has been a few days after his incident with little Nami and her blasted pet rabbit. It seemed that Godzilla is Kamizilia's brother after all, as he enacted his revenge on Naruto by biting him on the nose. Needless to say, Nami was very happy at seeing her rabbit turn carnivore on him. Anyway, his control of his element has definitely improved, not much but still an improvement. Another thing that bugged him was how hard it was for him to change into his lightning form, or as he named it, Blitz mode. It helped to have awesome names for your techniques. He didn't know how exactly turn into Blitz mode, as he can't change at a thought. He tried to command his body to change but to no avail. It seems that a different kind of trigger is needed. The last 2 times he changed was when he got struck by lightning. QB speculated that either it required him to channel a large amount of lightning chakra to his whole body, or that it really required a lightning strike. If the only way was the latter, then it would have sucked big time to keep waiting for a thunderstorm to come and hit him. Try and channel your lightning chakra all over your body, QB suggested. How exactly to do that? I can't even do tree walking yet, Naruto said. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, QB replied, and Naruto's sweat dropped. She has been living inside him for years and she forgot? Sometimes he wondered what she was doing inside him. Well, looks like we have to make people zap you then, QB said, and Naruto nodded. Still, are you sure about this? The first time you sneezed in that form, you kind of teleported quite far. Well, I have to make sure I don't sneeze then, Naruto smirked and QB grunted in reply. Naruto was very lucky the next day. It turns out that a genin team from Kumo was in Wave. They were doing a C-ranked mission of escorting a Kumo merchant. So what are you guys doing? Naruto asked the 3 Kumo genin team in front of him, and all of them was at Naruto's training spot. The genin teams were composed of a busted blonde girl, dark-skinned red-headed girl, and a dark-skinned white-haired boy who was sucking on a lollipop. The 3 stopped what they were doing and turned their attention to him. They were practicing ninjutsus before as per Killer Bee's instructions while he guards the client. While the 3 of them felt a bit bad for leaving the client alone with Killer Bee, they were glad nonetheless to get some quiet time from Killer Bee's rapping. Samui, the busty blonde girl, eyed Naruto for a moment before deciding that he was just a civilian. Training, that's all, she said while rubbing the back of her neck. Oh. Don't mind me. Just continue with your training like I'm not here, Naruto said excitedly. They were blasting lightning techniques just now, and he wanted to see if he could get hit by one, accidentally of course. What? Why would we do that? The red-headed girl, Karui, pointed at him. For all we know, you could be a spy. If I admit I'm not a spy, would you think otherwise? Naruto asked, and before Samui could say anything, Omoi answered. I see, Omoi rubbed his chin. You're trying to trick us, aren't you? You're trying to say that you're a spy so that we would dismiss that claim, as no spy would reveal himself, and then in the end, you really were a spy who managed to trick us and then backstab us and… Samui sighed. She seemed to do that a lot recently. You're over-exaggerating again, Oma. He's just a curious kid, that's all. That's right. So can you perform that technique you did back then? It was awesome. Can I see it again? Please, please, please? Naruto pleaded with puppy eyes. No way. It's forbidden for ninjas to reveal their techniques to civilians when not in battle, Karui stated. Aw, just this once, please? Naruto pleaded again, and Samui and Omoi shook their heads. Sorry kid, no can do, Oma said. Naruto deflated a bit but sprang back up almost immediately. Then I have to keep pestering you until you give in. PSHH, we're ninjas kid, we're trained to never give up. Karui huffed at him, and claimed proudly. An hour later. Let me kill him, Karui said loudly while she and the rest were huddled together with their hands over their ears. You can't hurt a civilian, Omos said loudly so that his teammates could hear him. Unless he attacked us first. And he's attacking my patients, Karui replied. Nyan, New York An, Nyen, Nyan, Nyan, Naruto sang in front of them happily. At first, the group, especially Samui, found the song to be cute. However, repetition tended to be annoying, and Naruto repeated the song non-stop, and he doesn't even stop to breathe. They tried to wait for him to tire himself, but it's been an hour already. It was ridiculous. Even Killer Bee's rap karaoke wasn't this long. They tried to make him stop, but they couldn't hurt him lest they hurt their reputations with the locals. Please make him stop, Sammy begged. Cammy, I never thought that someone else more annoying than Sensei could have ever existed, Carrie said. Tell me about it. I thought training with Sensei would give us immunity over annoying things, Omoe replied back. Suddenly, Naruto stopped, much to the genin's relief. Think Carrie was about to say when Naruto interrupted her. Oh? Your Sensei sounds like a fun guy. Maybe I should meet him instead, Naruto said while rubbing his chin as if in thought. The genin team felt a very horrifying feeling fell over them when the truth sunk in. What would happen if two very annoying people meets? Surely the world would end. Okay, fine. We'll show you once. Just once. Sammy exploded, and this shocked her teammates. It was very hard to make Sammy mad as she's the coolest person in the group. Naruto beamed with a very large smile. But Sammy, what happened if your lightning technique suddenly hit him? And then if he dies, we will be held responsible and our ninja career would be over. And then we would have to work, as Omoe said. I don't care. Sammy, show him, Karui said, and Sammy nodded and got up. Alright, Naruto, now watch closely. I'll show this to you just once, Sammy said, and Naruto nodded. Give me some space. This is going to be dangerous. Naruto and the rest backed away and went behind her, and Sammy began flashing her hand seals towards a clearing. Lightning technique. Lightning ball. Sammy chanted and held her left palm out while her right hand holds her left arm, as if bracing it. A basketball-sized ball made of lightning then appeared and shot out in front of Sammy. Then it curved back towards Naruto. What the fu? Omoe couldn't finish as the ball struck Naruto squarely on the chest and exploded in a small lightning burst that blinded the area with a bright flash for a moment. When the flash was gone, so was Naruto. After seeing what happened, Sammy's legs went limp and she dropped to the ground lifelessly. Omoe's mouth was hanging wide open as his lollipop fell from his mouth to the ground. Karui was hysterical and was grabbing her head and dropped to her knees. Cammy, what the fuck happened? Karui asked. I don't know. I didn't direct the lightning ball to him at all. I just aimed it straight. Why did it curve? Sammy defended herself while staring at the sky. Oh Cammy, I told you guys what would happen. Now for once, my exaggeration was right. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I didn't believe it at first when they say that first-time C-ranked missions were cursed, Oma said. Somewhere else. A lightning strike hit the ground and a lightning entity appeared, and from the looks of it, it was sitting on the ground. What happened? Naruto mentally asked his tenant. It seems that you are able to attract lightning to yourself. A neat feature when fighting against enemies, but not so much when around allies, Kyuubi explained, and Naruto nodded. And you sneezed again, didn't you? I can't help it, okay? I smelled something weird when that lightning ball hit me. I think it was the smell of my burnt clothes, Naruto replied. Speaking of which. Naruto got up and was about to examine himself when his blitz mode was over and he was in his human form again. What? That was too quick, Naruto said, and realized that he was again naked. He then turned around to find anything to cover himself when he saw an effeminate boy looking at him with his mouth open and a horrified look on his face. Naruto tried to stall while trying to think for an excuse as to why he was naked. You're not using the naked beach excuse again, are you? Kyuubi asked. It didn't work last time. Who knows, it'll work this time, Naruto mentally replied, and Kyuubi was about to speak when Naruto spoke first. Do you believe me when I say that I was from a nude beach? Naruto asked, and the boy, mouth still wide open, nodded slowly. Ha! He believes me, Naruto thought with a grin, and Kyuubi groaned in response. Congratulations, kid, you managed to traumatize a girl, 3 genins and a boy in less than a week. I'm so proud of you, Kyuubi said with sarcasm. Thank you. I'm proud of myself too, Naruto beamed, which terrified the boy and caused Kyuubi to groan again. Omake. Usagi-nin Adventures. Part 1. Nami hopped happily into her house's yard and went to the rabbit's pen and placed her new rabbit into it. Now stay here, I'm going inside to get you some food, Kay? Nami cheerfully said and went inside. Kamazilla. Why must you die? Godzilla said. Of course, to a human, what Godzilla said was just a screech. But do not worry, my brother. I will avenge you, In fact, I've already began my revenge. Yes, I can already taste your killer's blood in my mouth, which tastes bad by the way. Godzilla began grooming the area around his mouth to clear Naruto's blood from the fur. Also, I will avenge you, grandmother. Avenge you who were taken away from the Uchiha as their rightful pet. Soon I will return to them and serve as their glorious pet once again. Wahahaha, Godzilla said and jumped around maniacally. And do not cry for me, my brother, for your death has empowered my Sharingan to the next level. Behold, the Mangekyo's Sharingan, Godzilla said and closed his eyes for a moment before opening them back to reveal a Sharingan but with 2 bars extending from the pupil horizontally, like Izuna Uchiha's Mangekyo but 2 instead of 3 bars, making them look like a minus sign. A minus Sharingan? Wahaha. Yes. I shall use this power against our enemies. But first, how do I get out of this stupid island? Godzilla stopped jumping and scratched the back of his ear. Godzi-chan. Food has arrived. Nami, who has appeared with a tray of vegetables, said. Godzi-chan? Don't make me use my Mangekyo against you, you little oh hey, carrots! Godzilla said and deactivated his Sharingan and hopped towards Nami. Ah, what the heck? Revenge can wait, Godzi said and began munching on a carrot stick. Kirigakure. Momochi Zabuza was not having a good day. Actually, he rarely has any good days. Heck, he could count with his fingers about his good days. Anyway, this day was different from the rest of his not-so-good day. Why? Because he failed to assassinate the Yonde Mizukage Yagura, that's why. It was bad enough that his target was a Kage-level ninja. He was also a psychopath that committed genocide and the current host for the 3-tailed turtle beast. And Yagura is younger than him too. Now, most people would say that trying to kill a Kage who was a psychopath and also a host was a stupid and insane idea. Well, those people were stupid. There were many ways to end a life and not just fighting directly until your target drops dead. No, even the strong can fall to the unexpected, the unknown, or simply put, assassination. And although Zabuza carries a very large sword, he was quite capable of assassination just as he was capable of fighting head-on. But it seems that Yagura was very paranoid. Well, you get that when you're a psychopath and a mass murderer. Anyway, the thing is, Zabuza managed to kill Yagura, only that it wasn't Yagura. He managed to get the bastard's head rolling to the table and to the floor only to find that it wasn't Yagura's head, but rather some white-skinned creepy-looking freak with only an eye on one side of his face, and it had a smile even though he just got decapitated. And then the shit hits the fan. Yagura appeared from the shadows and Zabuza didn't waste any time and ran away from him. No way could he fight Yagura head-on, and he's not going down fighting either if it kills him. Don't be mistaken, Zabuza was not a coward, the assassination attempt was proof. But he was not stupid either. He wasn't like those heroic guys who still fight even though it was clear that they aren't going to win. If you're dead but your enemy's not, then your death was useless. Better to run away and come back later with a vengeance, than die and let someone else finish your sloppy work. Anyway, Yagura didn't bother chasing him, which was a relief. Yagura probably thought that he wasn't worth the time and send his minions instead. Arrogant bastard. That will bite you back in the ass, Zabuza promised you that. But that was for later, as vengeance can wait. For now, he needs to get the hell out of this country. What do we do now, boss? Meizu asked Zabuza. Meizu, along with his brother Gozu, were loyal followers of Zabuza and had been part of his coup, along with other Kiranin. Plan B, escape, Zabuza replied. What about the rest, boss? Yagura's gonna get even more paranoid and going to do some office cleaning for possible traitors, Gozu asked. Don't worry, all of them knew what they were into, regardless of the outcome. I've already ordered for the likely suspects for treason to get out of Kiri like us, while the rest to stay low and provide me with intel, Zabuza answered. But what if they got caught and they blab? Gozu asked again. Zabuza sighed at this. Even if they do, there's not much that they can do anyway, as we'll be out of here soon. Haku's life was a mess. A wreck. A disaster. Why? Well, she found out a few years ago that she has a unique power, the ability to make ice. For a girl like her of 9 years old, that was awesome, but not so to her parents. Her mother scolded her for it, and her father decided to kill her. She didn't understand why at first, but later she found out that in Kiri, having unique abilities, or bloodline as it was called, was something to be feared of and to be destroyed. Her father's fear, it seemed, was greater than his love. He didn't know at first that his wife carried a bloodline, as she never used it in front of him. But the truth came out when Haku first discovered her bloodline, and though her mother forbids her to use it again for fear of being discovered, it was too late. Her father saw it, and in his fear, brought a mob to kill his wife and daughter. Her mother tried to stop him with the hope that their love was greater than his fear. But it wasn't enough. He struck her down with tears in his eyes and was about to do the same to Haku. But Haku, in a moment of great emotional distress, used her powers to kill her father and the mob. And then she understood why her powers were feared, and she didn't use it ever since. For a few days since her first kill, she wandered alone, with nowhere or no one to go to. Then, someone took her in. Oziu was a tall man in his 30s with short brown hair, green eyes and a handsome face. His clothing, however, was average, not too shabby like a beggar and not too high class like an elite. Oziu was the owner of the Floating Hope Kiri orphanage. During the Civil War, a lot of people died, and most of those people were parents, leaving their children alone to the mercy of the cruel world. Being an orphan in wartime isn't easy, more so when Kiri didn't care much about orphans. This is because feeding and protecting the orphans could take a lot of resources that could go to their ninjas. And even if you weren't a ninja, a lot of civilians couldn't afford to take care of children with growing needs when they themselves need food to last the next day. Added to the fact that most of the orphans tend to have bloodlines, and anyone who caught sheltering a bloodline orphan were bound to be punished severely, even if they didn't know that the child had any bloodline. So the adults, on the chance that the orphans that they took in would have a bloodline, figured that they shouldn't give a damn about the orphans at all. And so, the orphans were left to themselves. Majority of the orphans would die, while the survivors would grow unbalanced. It was no wonder that Kiri has one of the bloodiest ninja of all elemental nations with extremely selfish survivor mindset. The survival of the fittest, the dog-eat-dog world, and every man for himself kind of mindset. However, Oziu established the Floating Hope Kiri orphanage and took almost every child on the street. An admirable endeavor, because orphanages often tend to get investigated for bloodline children. In Kiri, children in orphanages have a higher rate of being taken away by ninjas instead of potential parents. Oziu, however, wasn't a good person. He's not a rich guy, so there's no way he could support a large number of children in a warring village. So he put the children to work, and those works varies, from begging, stealing, prostitution and human trafficking. The children didn't have any choice. It was either him or starve to death. Haku currently was assigned the job of begging. It was the safest work in the orphanage so far, better than stealing. If you caught stealing from a ninja, don't expect any mercy and Oziu will disown you. Not like there's any difference from begging anyway. The people that they begged from didn't have much anyway, and wasn't willing to part with it, and didn't want to give what they have. Beggars tend to be persistent, and that tend to get you hit. And Haku just now was roughly shoved to the ground after persistently begging from a woman. She didn't get up from the ground as she was too tired from lack of food. Oziu didn't give them much to eat, just scraps enough to live for the next day but not enough for their growing needs. She bit her lip, while mentally cursing her fate because of her ability. If only I didn't have this bloodline. Mother and father would have lived and we would be happy, Haku thought bitterly. She wanted to cry, but her tears had already dried. Sometimes she wondered why the heck she is even alive. She's seen it before, some of the orphans just stop doing anything, even to eat or drink. They just sleep and never wake up. Maybe she should do the same. That way, maybe she could see her mother again. Haku then closed her eyes slowly, wanting to rest, and woke up, hopefully to a better place. Suddenly, crack! Haku bolted awake in surprise at the loud sound in front of her. She got up to her feet, ready to run away, when she saw a naked boy sitting on the ground. What was strange was that his body was unnatural. It seemed as if it was made from yellow lightning and crackled with energy. The boy got up, turned his head left and right, and then his body turned to a normal human body, and not a single thread on him. What? That was too quick, the boy said, and realized that he was naked, turned around to face her. The boy seemed to be 12 years old, with yellow blonde hair, the same color of his lightning color before, with blue eyes and whisker marks on his cheek. The boy was currently the most remarkable person she met in her short life. The boy said. Do you believe me when I say that I was from a nude beach? Haku wanted to say no, but feared his wrath and nodded slowly, and the boy grinned and then beamed, which terrified her. Oh, Kami! What the hell is he? A bloodline user? Haku thought. So you have anything for me to wear? The boy said, and Haku shook her head. Bummer, Naruto scratched his head. The name's Naruto and you are? Haku said weakly. So Naruto looked around to assess his surroundings. It seems that he was in a somewhat deserted part of a town, an alley, as there's only him and her at the moment. Where are we? Kirigakure, Haku simply said, and Naruto stopped what he was doing with a horrified look on his face. Kiri? As in Bloody Miss Kiri? Naruto said slowly, and Haku nodded slowly too. Oh Kami! Of the entire place in the world, you sent me to the worst place. Naruto shook his fist to the sky. Naruto then sighed and dropped his fist, shaking. Now I need to get out of here. Maybe I can get someone to zap me and sneeze again? Haku tilted her head at that. Get out of here. Maybe, just maybe, he could take her with him too? Can I follow you? Haku said, and Naruto turned to look at her, in which Haku looked away. The first thing she learned about the world is that the strong hated when the weak looked them straight in the eye. It was a challenge. I'm not sure that's a good idea. I mean, I will turn to pure lightning and you will get zapped horribly, Naruto said, and Haku deflated. Oh, Haku simply replied. She knew it was too good to be true. Naruto saw her reaction and his face turned sour and clenched his fist. Naruto was not oblivious to pain and suffering, especially when that suffering was identical to his. He knew that Haku has pretty much been through the same hell as he has, and probably even worse, judging from her condition. Back then, even through his worst, he had people that cared for him, even if it was very few. Naruto could easily get away from here. Just get someone to zap him with lightning and sneeze again. Okay, that plan would be harder than it seems, as he wasn't sure which ninja has lightning ability, and that is even if said ninja would use lightning against him. But that would mean only he would escape and he would leave Haku here alone. He could do that, but that would mean he would be no different from the villagers of Konoha. The people that only thought of their own pain, their own wounds and their own suffering instead of other people's. No! He promised himself that he won't be like them. He promised Mei that they would create a better place, and to do that, you have to start with the people. Hey, Naruto softly said, and Haku looked at him in the eye for a moment before looking away again. I want to get away from here, but not alone, Naruto said, and Haku looked him squarely in the eyes again, this time with hope. Really? Haku croaked. Naruto beamed and flashed her a toothy grin. Of course. That I promise you. But I'm going to need some clothing though, Naruto said while scratching the back of his head. Haku nodded at this. I'll get you some, she said, and turned away to get him some clothing. Chojuro's day has just gotten worse. It didn't help that he has little confidence with people. Well, actually, living being oppressed by adults tend to crush your confidence. But maybe that's just him. He saw some other kids grew balls of steel to survive. Anyway, he was just doing what orphan kids living under Ozu would do, begging for scraps. But his target wasn't very kind, as he was backhanded, sending him tumbling to the ground and his glasses thrown to the floor. Chojuro, after a minute of nursing his sore cheek, stumbled around for his glasses. He found them, and to his dismay, it was cracked. He put it on nevertheless, as he was blind as a bat without it. Great, now his vision was like of a fly. Multiple images and all that shit. Chojuro. Chojuro heard someone calling him and turned to face the source of the voice. Haku, Chojuro said, and corrected his cracked glasses. Per Chojuro, the 7-year-old boy has poor eyesight and the glasses didn't help much, but that didn't change the fact that he was a kind-hearted boy. Probably the kindest boy she has ever met. What is it? Do you have clothing for a 12-year-old boy? Haku asked, and Chojuro raised an eyebrow at her. It's for someone I met, and he said he could get me out of here, Haku said, and Chojuro looked shocked at this. But don't worry, I'm sure there's room for one more. I'm not sure, Haku, how is he going to that? Chojuro asked. Even though he looked weak, he wasn't stupid. He knew that desperate people was easily fooled by the smallest glint of hope, even if that hope turned out to be false. Haku suddenly deflated when the question struck her. She didn't give it much of a thought on how Naruto was going to get them out of Kirigakure. He was only a boy, what can he do? Besides, can Naruto be trusted? For all she knew, Naruto might be a scout for another Ozu. Another child slaver. But what else is there for her? Either she tried to make a difference to her life or... I wanted to try, what do I have to lose? Nothing, Haku said softly, and Chojuro looked sad at this. It was true, they didn't have much, aside from each other. I don't want to live like this anymore, Chojuro, I understand, wait here, Chojuro said with a small smile and head off to another direction, leaving Haku with a smile of her own. Ozu was having a good day. Oh yes, he was. You see, his business was pretty much booming and was flooding him with lots and lots of profit. You see, his business involved a lot of orphans, and those orphans are treasure pots of gold for him. Why? Well, it was simple really. Free labor. You usually have to pay adults for their services, but these kids, just give them food, some place to live and clothing. You don't need much anyway. cheap clothes or rags, run-down shelter, and some food that won't kill them from starvation. Usually, he would make the kids beg for some cash from the civilians, but that won't do much, as the civilians were cheapskates. So he would make them do other work, usually at the manufacturing shops for the underage and when the girls have reached suitable age, prostitution. But of course, the most profitable of his business would be selling bloodline children to the highest bidder. Seriously, Kiri was the stupidest ninja village in the world. Almost every village wanted to have bloodlines, but Kiri? They killed them like they were infected cattle or something. It was understandable to fear power, but at least not the level of rejecting them completely. It was like fearing fire because it can destroy and refuse to use it, and even put it out when the rest of the world was using it. One day, you will be left behind and consumed by that fire you hated very much. From the way things were going, Kiri will be the weakest ninja village in the world. Still, their loss was his gain. Kiri might not want their bloodlines, but others wanted them, like Kumo for example. Heck, Kumo was his regular customers. Ozu has been collecting children with bloodlines and selling them to Kumo for tons of cash. Kumo wasn't stingy for bloodlines because they know it will benefit them in the end, unlike Kiri. But of course, he had to do his business quietly because if Kiri knew what he was doing, his head will roll on the floor, without his body. He usually gave bloodline children a drug that suppresses chakra for an amount of time so to avoid detection from Kiri hunter ninjas. Usually, to detect whether someone has any bloodline or not, you could either use the chakra cards to check for elemental affinities or check their blood. Chakra card was useless if they couldn't use chakra and expensive, while blood checking takes a freaking lot of time and resources that Kiri ninja wasn't willing to spend on. Lucky for him. Anyway, today another merchant was coming to buy his stuff, and he must get ready. Today on top of the list is Hakuyuki. Shame, a few more years and she will make a wonderful prostitute. Now where was she? Now, a man in his late 20s with crew-cut blonde hair and black eyes was going to have a good day. He had just won a large sum from a lottery and now, he's going to get more. How he's going to do it, you say? Well, simple. He's going to trade items of value. Are you sure this is going to work? Nao's partner, Susumu, asked. Susumu, his junior, was a short man with muscular build and has shoulder-length brown hair and brown eyes. Weren't the bravest person, despite his body. Nao sighed. Yes, it will work. Just have some faith, man. Susumu still has his doubts, however. We came at the worst possible time. All of a sudden the security at the dock tripled. Something must have happened here. Nao then pulled Susumu into an abandoned alley. A lot of things happen here. This place is in a war, remember? Kiri is like a landmine compared to other places. Relax, I bribed the dock guards well enough, Nao said, trying to ease his cowardly partner. Susumu narrowed his eyes at him. Tell me the truth, he ordered. Susumu might not be a genius, but he wasn't all brawn and muscles. Nao raised an eyebrow at him. What are you talking about? You're a gambler, and you've just got a massive jackpot, and suddenly you decided to spend all of your money doing something good? Susumu said. You're an asshole and a jerk. Your definition of good is very different from mine. Can I do good, FO? Nao was about to feign innocence when Susumu grabbed his collar and raised him off his feet. You're risking mine and Aki's life and also the village by being in here right after a particularly hot situation. We could have another Konoha incident, you greedy fuck, Susumu said angrily. Because it isn't enough, okay? Nao replied. Not enough? Susumu said in a harsh tone. We got enough to apparently buy 19 bloodline children. Even one at black market is damn expensive. And that's why we're doing this, man. Think about it. Just one costs an arm and a leg. What about 19 of them? We will be set for life, Nao said in a whisper, and Susumu scrunched his nose in disgust. Think about this, man. We buy the bloodline kids, sell them higher to Gato, we get rich. Gato sells them higher to Kumo, Gato gets richer. Kumo, although they will get a little less rich, gets stronger with the bloodline kids in the end. Everybody wins and everybody gets happy, Nao said. Our village wouldn't like that. Her own ninja is swindling them, Susumu countered again. They don't have to know, alright? Nao said, and Susumu smashed him into a nearby wall. It's dirty money. Come on. Look around you, Nao said and spread his arms. If you're so kind-hearted, do you think that this place is the best place for a children to live in and grow? Huh? Susumu looked away. We are doing them a favor. Kumo will treat them better than Kiri. You know that, Nao pressed on. No one was willing to get this far and get the children out of here like we do. You know why? Because it is dangerous. So just consider the money we will get as rewards for our good deeds. So now I'm asking you. Now that you're here, are you going to abandon them because you're afraid of some dirty money when you could make a difference to their lives, even slightly so? Now jabbed his finger at Susuma's chest. But our way is wrong, Susuma said weakly. Come on, man. Even Aki was dead set on this from the very start. Now shot back and broke free from Susuma's hold. You took advantage of us. You knew we would be willing so easily, Susuma said angrily. Because I'm the only one that's willing to do this. Ask any of your friends if they would come here. None. You know why? Because they were too scared, now replied, and Susuma looked away. At least I do something. I admit I'm not a saint, but I'm not a demon either. Would you prefer me spending my lottery winnings at home? I could retire from being a ninja, you know. But I didn't. I just want some greater reward for the final good that I'm about to do, now said and walked away. And I'm going to do it, with or without you. Naruto was not having a good day. Well, okay, not really. The first part of his day wasn't so bad. He managed to annoy 3 ninja genins. But that got him here, at Kiri, the worst place for someone like him. Honestly, what was the probability he got here anyway? Did somebody put the mother of all lightning rod here or something? He didn't see any here anyway. But then things got more complicated. Oh, how the plot thickens! Now, he must escape from this crazy village, not alone, but with someone. So how do you do it? Considering that A, he and his soon-to-be escapee partner wasn't much of a ninja, B, he didn't have any kind of planning at all, and finally, C, he's naked. Okay, first, solve the easy problems first. That's how you do tests. Find some clothing. Haku was going to come with some clothes, but he didn't know how long that will take. Suddenly, he heard people coming into the alley. Naruto quickly dived into a dumpster and suppressed his chakra. After months of gruesome that was exaggerated, training, he was finally able to suppress his chakra to the point that it was hard to detect him by chakra alone. That was an amazing feat, really. Considering that he has damn-sized chakra. The good thing resulted from this training was that it prevented him from constantly shocking people that he touched. Anyway, it seems that 2 people were having an argument about something. Naruto focused on hearing, not using shaka, what was being said, and it was lucky that the people were arguing right beside the dumpster he was in. After a moment, the people left, and Naruto checked his surroundings first before going out of it. He was grinning from ear to ear. He has found his escape. It seems that life has just given him a dragon fruit juice. But then, he has a problem. The people were likely human traffickers, and going with them is like a fish escaping the frying pan and into the fire. And then into the cold hard floor which doesn't have any water and thus air for the fish. He needs something else to escape from the human traffickers. But what? Offer them money? He didn't have any, and considering the price that they shelved out for the children cost his arms, legs, and internal organs times 50. He worth at least that much, he thought. So how was he going to do this? Ask Mei to pay them? Nah, they don't have that much either. Then it left him with the oldest solution in the book when dealing with an enemy. You kill them. But that solution sprouted another problem. He wasn't capable of killing them yet. So what now? Suddenly, he could hear more people coming to the alley, and Naruto dived back into the dumpster. Damn it! Voice A said. Our getaway ship is busted, Voice B said next. What do we do now? Obviously we need a new one, and quick too, Voice C said. Naruto, who was inside the dumpster, couldn't believe his luck. A trio of ninjas who wanted escape? Maybe he could make them work with him? But how? What if they asked for payment? What would happen if they knew that his escape involved trafficked bloodline children? What's stopping them from going to this gato and sell them after they killed the Kumo ninjas? Either secure their loyalty in some way or find another way to kill the trio. But if it's the latter, he would be better off without them and kill the 2 Kumo ninjas instead. If only there were Thunderstorm, he would have the strength to do so. But alas, he would have to do things differently. It looks like he has to involve Mei into his mess. But surely she would understand, right? He was doing the right and noble thing. Naruto sighed. Sorry, Mei, Naruto said, and slowly get out from his hiding spot. No sooner than he did so, a hand grabbed him by the throat and pinned him to a wall. What the? Voice he said. You're naked. Naruto couldn't say anything before he was shoved into the ground hard. Gah! Watch it! I'm fragile! Gozu snorted and advanced towards him with a kunai poised to kill him. Wait! Naruto quickly got up and brought his hands in front of him. I got something you would like to hear. Gozu snorted again and resumed his advance. I know how to escape from here, Naruto said again, and Gozu snorted again and resumed his advance. Wait, Zabuza said in a firm voice, and Gozu stopped. Let's hear what the street rat has to say. Street rat? I'm not a street rat, Naruto said, and the three of them gave him a deadpan look. You're naked, you're smelly, you're covered in garbage. Need any more reason? Zabuza said. Hey, I have a valid reason why I'm like this, and being a street rat isn't one of them. And that's not the point right now. Although I could use some clothing, Naruto mumbled, and Zabuza sighed. Meizu, give him some clothing, Zabuza ordered, and Meizu fished out a spare cloak from his storage seal and handed it to Naruto. Are you sure about the kid boss? For all we know, he could be working with Yagura, Meizu said while eyeing Naruto, who was covering himself with the cloak. Most of the kids that understood the cause of the war hate Yagura. And I can tell he's one of them. Besides, sometimes the kids hear and see things that they aren't supposed to but got ignored. We could use that to our advantage, Zabuza explained. Ah, much better, Naruto said and wiped his face on the cloak. Meizu cringed at the sight, he kind of liked the cloak. Anyway, here's the thing. There's a pair of human traffickers going to purchase some bloodline children, and I heard that they managed to bribe the dock guards well enough to grant them escape. Bloodline traffickers? Zabuza said and narrowed his eyes at Naruto, who nodded in reply. Ever since the Kiri Civil War and Bloodline Purge, a lot of people saw profit in trafficking bloodline users and sell them to the highest bidder. Usually the adults are problematic as they can fight back, so the kids fetch well as they are much more vulnerable, and you can train them to obedience. Zabuza hated those bloodline traffickers with all his gut. He didn't have any problem with bloodline users much. Not all of them are bad by default. It's like a sword, it can hurt, but does that mean it was evil and bad by default? No, it can be used to protect. What gives it the good and evil alignment was the user that holds the sword. In fact, the bloodline purge was one of the biggest factors why he wanted to kill Yagura. Besides, they were useful. I see, Zabuza said. So I figured that you're about to be trafficked too? Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Not really. My new friend is. I just got here and I need to get out, just like you guys. Heh, but what's stopping us from selling you instead after we've dispatched the original traffickers? Gozu said. While he knew that Zabuza won't do that, he figured he'd shake the kid up a little bit. Naruto stalled, trying to figure something out. Suddenly, an idea came to his mind and he cursed himself for his stupidity of not figuring it out sooner. For 3 months he lived with the Turimis. They have been educating him about a lot of things. Probably a lot more than what Konoha Academy had. Anyway, they taught him about the ninja ranks and more importantly the daimyos. My father is a relative of the fire daimyo. I got kidnapped just a few days ago and brought here, Naruto said, and Gozu and Meizu raised an eyebrow at him. Really? Gozu asked. Yeah, my kidnappers figured that hiding here would be best for a while, since they knew that Konoha will be very reluctant to wage war to claim me back. So they're trying to negotiate for my release. But I managed to escape them for a while, Naruto said almost confidently. So Meizu drawled. What's stopping us from claiming ransom for you instead? Naruto scratched the back of his head. He didn't thought of it that way. But then, another idea popped to existence. Come on. If you guys do that, you will be wanted criminals. But if I put in a good word with my father, then he will do the same to the daimyo, and you guys will be rewarded generously for your heroic efforts of saving me and other helpless children from the oppressive reign of selfish adults. And who knows, you might get jobs too. Gozu and Meizu rubbed their chin in thought. When they thought about it, the boy was right. Zabuza, however, wasn't fooled. He knew that the boy wasn't related to the daimyo. But still, he figured that he could use the boy's plan for the moment. It was solid. Besides, he won't sell the kids, just train them to be ninjas. There would be his army in taking back Kiri, their hometown. Alright kid, we'll do it your way, Zabuza said, and Naruto beamed. Things are looking up for them. Where are you, Chojuro? Haku fidgeted on the spot, her heart beating with suspense. She needed to meet with Naruto again quickly to see what his plans of escape were. There you are, little girl, a voice said behind her, and Haku turned around to face one of Ozuyu's thugs. We've been looking all over the place for you. Time to go home, the thug smiled and Haku gulped. She didn't have much of a choice. Sorry, Naruto, maybe this couldn't work after all, Haku thought sadly. So, which ship is the ship? Goza asked. The four of them were hiding somewhere in the docks, trying to scout for the trafficker's ship to board on. You said that they're from Kumo, right? Meizu added, and Naruto nodded. So maybe they'll have Kumo's symbol on their ship? No dice, they're on an illegal mission, so it's unlikely they will use Kumo's ship. They will probably use normal merchant ship, Zabuza answered, and the three of them nodded. The dock was kind of busy right now with angry merchants who couldn't leave Kiri. It was expected though because of Zabuza's little assassination attempt. The Kiri ninjas wanted to prevent his escape using the ships and thus prevent any ship from leaving the dock for the moment. Say, wasn't the dock locked? Then how are we going to get out using a ship? I mean, even if the bribed guards let our getaway ship go, the Kiri officials will realize what's going on and after us, Meizu stated. The bribed guards will probably release a few ships including ours at the same time to throw off the Kiri officials chasing us, Zabuza said. Naruto rubbed his chin for any ideas. He then pondered his brain for anything, then suddenly, he remembered the important details. Now Susumu Aki. Come on, man! Even Aki was dead set on this from the very start. And I didn't even have to mention money to her. Aki! There's another trafficker that's guarding the ship. I think it was Aki, Naruto said. The ninja trio turned to look at him. I think I can find her, Naruto grinned. Masanori, a guy in his early 30s with short gray hair, yellow eyes, a shitload of scars, like a Ibiki, on his face and a large sword on his back, was having a rather bad day. Why? Well, his fellow swordsman and Kiri had just attempted assassination on their leader. Granted, he knew that Zabuza hated Yagura. He also knew that Zabuza would have attempted to kill him. But he didn't do anything about it. Why? Because he knew Zabuza would fail. Who the heck could kill their psychopath monster of a leader? In this village, none? But he expected for Zabuza to die trying to do so, not lived. Now he has to hunt him because Yagura and the other swordsmen were such a lazy ass. Now he has to confront him. It was a pain in the ass. He didn't mind killing people, but not the ones that could really pain him. He didn't mind getting killed, but he didn't want any more pains. His face was a proof to the shitload of pain he'd been through, and he didn't want to experience it again if he could help it. Still, a job was still a job. Now where was Zabuza? Sir, Hunter Owl said to him. What? Masanori said lazily. We've managed to find Zabuza's getaway ship, but he's not in it. So he's still in Kiri, Owl said. Masanori sighed. Great, now we got Killer hiding in our home, yay. But we do have a tip that might lead us to him, Owl continued, and Masanori grunted. It was a sign for him to continue. We think that he might use another getaway ship. A ship that belongs to bloodline traffickers. Masanori's eyes narrowed at Owl and he gulped behind his mask. If there's one thing Masanori hated, was bloodline users. A lot of the scars on his body was because of them. So they're trying to smuggle killers out of our country, eh? No dice, we kill everyone, the traffickers, buyer, seller and the bloodlines too, Masanori stated, and Owl nodded. But there's a bit of a problem, Owl said, and Masanori deflated. Is this going to be a pain in the butt? Masanori asked, and Owl nodded, and he sighed. The buyer is Kumo ninjas, Owl stated, and Masanori groaned. He forgot that blood-loan traffickers these days are mostly Kumanin. Damn it! We can't kill within Kiri's borders. We have to wait until they set sail, then we hunt them. Make it look like an accident. So release the lockdown on the dock, Masanori ordered, and Owl nodded and disappeared. Kumo, in the ninja world, was the resident douche jerk bully. They're the crafty bully type, the one that bullies you yet told the authorities that you're the one that bullied them, making the victim look like the bullies. He wasn't making this up. Few years ago, they sent delegates for peace treaty with Konoha, and the delegates had the gall to kidnap one of their Hyuga members who was a kid at the time, and not to mention the heiress. That act alone could lead to war, but Kumo denied having the delegate's actions, stating that the delegate was acting on his own. It worked because the delegate was killed, instead of captured and interrogated. Stupid Konoha. Anyway, Kumo stated that they were victimized instead, demanded justice, and would wage war unless Konoha gave them the head of their delegate's killer. They knew Konoha would relent because they didn't want another war to start, so Konoha gave in. And that pretty much boosted Kumo's ego, and bloodline traffickers saw a raise. They didn't try to steal any other village's bloodline, but they started to focus on Kiri, since Kiri was rejecting their bloodlines like crazy. The same thing that happened to Konoha could happen here if he killed the Cumanins on Kiri's soil. Kuma would go apes hit and would demand compensation or war. Kiri right now could not wage war with another country, especially one that was a powerhouse such as Kumo. If that were to happen, then Yagura would claim his ass. And that would be a major pain in the ass. So now, he has to wait. But until then, he could pay someone a visit. Pleasure doing business with you, Now said and shake hands with Ozu. The deal was done, the money traded hands and so are the children. Ozu was smirking from the inside. He had just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. The truth was, he only has 18 bloodline children, including Haku for sale. The 19th child was Chojuro. Yes, it was true that Chojuro doesn't have any bloodline in him, but Ozu wanted to get rid of the boy. He didn't like having to take care of him because of his eyesight. It would be a pain to get the boy glasses, which isn't cheap. And the boy wasn't worth the price for it anyway. So he lied to his client about 1 boy. Big deal. They won't realize it until it was too late anyway. Besides, it was normal for your purchase of bulk to have some defects in them. Sometimes, it wasn't the manufacturer's fault, but rather the deliverer's. The pleasure is mine. So I will send the children to your ship then. I figured you handled your exit well? Ozu said. It was unexpected, but manageable. I'll get out from here, Now replied with a shrug. What's the deal with the increased security? Well, a rather famous ninja, Momochi Zabuza, attempted assassination on the Mizukage, Ozu stated and Now looked surprised. Zabuza? The demon of the mist, Momochi Zabuza? Now said and Ozu smiled. The very same. But of course, he thought that he was the real demon, but compared to Yagura, he's nothing, Ozu said and Now laughed. True, Now said. Anyway, I'll help with your exit as able as I can, Ozu said and Naruto raised an eyebrow at him. It won't do well for me if you were to get caught. Now smirked at him. That's true. Naruto walked towards the ships to a woman that the 4 of them suspected would be their Aki. From the looks of it, this Aki must be a ninja too, and if there's one thing a seasoned ninja like Zabuza knew, was to detect another ninja, even in disguise. The woman, who seemed to be in her mid-20s, has black ponytailed hair with pink eyes. She's quite the beauty, from Goza and Meizu's opinion anyway. She was minding her own business, but the 4 of them knew that she's on the lookout. But that didn't stop her from stopping Naruto from bumping into her, hard. Aki stumbled backward but quickly regained her footing, a sign of good ninja, while Naruto fell to his bottom. Watch where you, Aki said harshly, but stopped halfway when he realized who had just bumped her. She then checked herself for her wallet because usually, when people bumped you, they either do it on purpose to pickpocket you, put a tracer, or they really didn't see you. Naruto knew that she was starting to get suspicious, so he reacted quickly. My food. My only food for the day, Naruto said, and Aki looked at what he was saying and saw a loaf of bread, which was provided by Zabuza, floating in a puddle near them. The bread was beyond all hope of eating. Aki felt bad. Not only did she suspected the child, but she ruined his food. Not to mention that the kid only has a cloak as his clothing. Naruto then crawled towards the bread and picked it up. The soggy bread let out a small stream of water from it. I guess I'll just have to wait for it to dry, Naruto said sadly, and Aki looked shocked. Wait, you're going to eat it? Aki said, and Naruto nodded sadly. Yeah, it's my only food for the day. But I'm used to it though. Sometimes stale breads taste better if you dunk it in water, Naruto said. He has experiences with breads like this many times before. Aki was a seasoned ninja, but that doesn't mean she's heartless, especially to children. It was the reason why she went along with Nao's plan. She wanted to save some of the children here, as she too has similar experiences. My name's Aki, Aki said, and brought Naruto to his feet and discarded the bread away. Naruto made a small gasp, but not because of his bread was just got thrown out, but because his target was true. Yes. Jackpot, Naruto said. Nah, Naruto said weakly, trying to look sad. Come with me, I'll give you some proper clothing and food, Aki said with a smile, and Naruto beamed. I get to wear clothing again. Thank you, lady. Naruto jumped in joy and followed a smiling Aki inside. He actually felt bad for the things that they are going to her though. Damn. I must give it to you, kid, things are looking well, Goza stated happily inside the Cumanin's ship. Aki was unconscious and tied inside a room inside the ship. I'm surprised that things were going so well, Naruto said and scratched the back of his head. I feel like something's wrong though. Naruto pondered for a moment before. Fuck! Naruto screamed and the ninja trio looked at him. I forgot whether Haku has any bloodline or not, Naruto said and paced around. If she didn't have any, and she weren't bought, then all of his effort would be for nothing. Well, not really, as he would be helping other children too, but still. Aki! Are you in? The deal's done, and the packages are coming, a voice said from the ship's deck. What? Already? Naruto said, and Zabuza ordered his men to get ready for the ambush. Nao and Susumu entered the ship and saw Naruto. They were shocked at first, but that was enough as the demon brothers, along with the demon of the mist himself, moved in and held them at knife point with their kunai. What the fuck? Nao said. Did Ozu send you? Zabuza took off the bandages that was covering his mouth and grinned. That's right, it wasn't the truth, but Zabuza wanted to damage the human trafficker's reputation. Nao saw the shark-like tooth and felt a sense of dread washed over him. Zabuza? Right again, Zabuza said. Now all your belongings belong to us, Naruto stated and pointed to Nao, and everyone looked at him weirdly. What? It's true, Naruto shrugged. Whatever, Meizu said and knocked the two Cuminans unconscious. A few moments later, barrels that contained fruits arrived at the ship. The four of them checked the barrels thoroughly and found out that the bloodline children were indeed inside the barrel, buried underneath the fruits. They were sedated lightly though. In half an hour, they would wake up. Wow, canned children with fruits? Naruto commented, and Gozu laughed hard, and Meizu smacked his brother to make him focus on the job. To Naruto's utter relief, Haku was included among the children, sleeping lightly under a pile of dragon fruits. Oh man, Kami sure has some sense of humor. Phew. Haku's here. I almost thought of going back to get him into the ship, Naruto said. You do that, you're on your own, Zabuza said coldly, and Naruto scrunched his nose at him. Zabuza ignored him though. Get the ship moving. Ozu was a happy man. He just got filthy rich and rid himself of troubling children along the way. He has just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Unfortunately though, his happiness was short-lived. He was just casually rocking on his comfy, expensive executive chair with his head behind his hands when the door to his office burst open and ninjas appeared into existence. Ozu was shocked, as they never entered in this fashion before. A few seconds later, Masanori entered the room. So Ozu, how you've been? Masanori said and casually walked to his desk. Ozu was sweating bullets as he knew why the ninjas were here. But he tried to play his cool. Fine, he said weakly. Really? You don't look fine to me, Masanori said and put a leg on the table. You broke into my office. Ozu shooed back with much confidence this time. Masanori had a blank look on his face. It was a pain to open it. Ozu's head almost crashed into his desk, but he straightened himself. But it didn't pain you to destroy my door? I didn't do it. My lackeys did, Masanori deadpanned, and Ozu's head hit the desk. He then got up again. What do you want? Ozu said with a firm voice, his courage coming back to him. If he played this right, he could survive. Masanori sighed. You know I hate things that are a pain in the ass, and that includes dramas and theatrics. So I'm going to make this extremely straight to the point. Masanori took in a deep breath before speaking. You busted. Bloodline trafficking. Give sales money. No. Ozu paled at this. He was officially screwed. He won't get out of this alive. Wait. I know which ship they're in. Save it, I already know, Masanori said and drew out the large sword on his back. The white bandages wrapped around the sword began to unravel to reveal a fish-shaped sword with 2 handles and 2 holes at the upper blade. It was one of the 7 swords of Kiri. The Hiramikari, or the twins' word. You know ninjas are a paranoid bunch. It takes a lot for them to trust someone. So can you imagine the thing that a ninja hates the most in the world? Masanori said while swinging the large sword over him. Ozu was petrified with fear and he couldn't run away. 2 ninjas were beside him, preventing his escape. Traitors, Masanori said and stabbed Ozu squarely on the chest. Ozu's scream was short, however, as blood gushed out from his mouth. Goodbye, Ozu, you've been a pain in my ass, and that is the thing that I hate the most. Masanori then flared his chakra through Hiramikari, and the massive chakra formed into the shape of 4-point anchors through the holes. The result was that Ozu's body upper top was completely obliterated, spraying his body parts everywhere while leaving only his legs on the chair. Sweep his office for any valuables, especially documents. Kiri will be happy to take over his business, Masanori said while sitting on the desk while removing some flesh of his hair. Make it quick, we're going to sink a ship after this. Yes, sir, the ninjas in the room chorused. Haku was starting to have a good day. She thought that she would never escape not only from Kiri, but from slavery, but she did. She thought that Chojuro and Naruto were left behind, but they somehow managed to come along. And now they were heading to Wave to sort things out. She also gets to eat fruits. It was a rarity to be able to eat it when she was in the orphanage. They would feed her food scraps and stale breads. This was the first time she gets to eat a variety of fruits like peaches, dragon fruit, and mango. A lot of the children on the ship preferred to eat the sweet-tasting fruits. Naruto, however, loved dragon fruit. The fruit itself was weird. While most of the fruit on the ship tasted sweet, the dragon fruit's taste was bland. Not too sweet, not too bitter, and a bit sour. But what was surprising was its flesh. It was juicy and refreshing to eat. Not to mention that it has a lot of seeds and added a crunchy taste. She liked the fruit already. Say, Haku? Naruto said. Haku said with her mouth full. I didn't know you have a bloodline. What kind of bloodline do you have? Naruto asked, and almost every bloodline children cringed at the question. People in Kiri don't respond very well to bloodline issues. Haku was hesitant to answer, but Naruto's smile and big curious eyes made her answer. I can make ice, she answered timidly. Ice? Awesome. Can you turn into ice, though? Naruto asked, and Haku titled her head. I am not sure, Haku answered. Oh well. Show me your ability, Naruto said, and Haku complied, turning the dragon fruit in Naruto's hand into a frozen fruit. Naruto then hit the fruit on the floor a few times and loud thunk could be heard. Awesome. Say, boss, what do we do with the cuminins? Goza asked while munching on an apple. Before we reach Wave, we dispose of them in the ocean, Zabuza simply said while eating his own apple and observing the children, especially Haku and Naruto. Things couldn't have been better for the now missing ninja. While he failed in killing Yagura, at least he managed to escape, and not to mention, he has 19 children with bloodline that he could train and make his own army to strike back at Yagura. And although taking care of 19 children will be very hard, they'll manage. It seems that he will have to be like Oziu a bit. He will have to make them work for a living. But he won't be like Oziu, who oppressed the children who lived under him. Zabuza will train them on how to survive on their own, rather than make the children depend on him to live. Ah shit! 4 interceptors are heading our way, Meizu, who was on the lookout, said loudly. An interceptor was a high-speed boat with sole purpose of speed and enough firepower to down weak ships rather than defense and cargo capacity. They were designed to catch up with ships, and the strike team on board would board them or attack the ships while dodging enemy attacks. Kiri has the best ships of all elemental nations. While merchant ships are limited to wind-based propulsion, only the very rich and the hidden villages are able to afford steam-based ships. However, Kiri has something else that none of the rest of the world has yet: motorboats. The motorboats, along with other technologies found in the ninja world, were actually salvaged from ruins from the Tech Age, where technology was used heavily at the time. However, something happened and destroyed the Tech Age and left only few pieces of technology in ruins that are often underground. It didn't help that most of the technologies are quite complex in the current age. The Ninja Age wasn't able to fully understand them. They managed to replicate some of it, but not fully understand it. That's why technology was sporadic in the ninja world. Anyway, the motorboats that they found uses fuel that they aren't able to make yet. Research was made to use other fuel, but with the Civil War, it was a slow research. Miraculously, they are able to make it work with chakra, although it requires a lot of it. They bypassed this problem by using chakra storage seals. However, this limits its use on small to medium boats like the motorboats and jet skis. They will catch up to us in 3 minutes, Meizu added. Zabuza and Goza got up and prepared themselves for a fight. What do we do, boss? If they reach the ship, they're going to bomb us with exploding tags and high-powered ninjutsus for sure. This ship does have any weapons? Goza asked. Get the kids inside the ship and get the cuminins. Release them and tell them unless they cooperate for the time being, they will be killed, not by us, but by Kiri hunter ninjas, Zabuza ordered, and Goza nodded and set to work. You stay, Zabuza said to Haku, and Naruto didn't join the kids to get inside the ship. A few moments later, the cuminins got out to the ship's deck and faced Zabuza. Susumu and Aki looked ready to fight, while Nao looked angry with the fact that his business plan was going downhill. Listen up. Kiri send 4 interceptor boats after our asses, and I bet it isn't to capture us. They will show no mercy and do everything they can to sink us. Now, I estimate around 20 Kiri ninja heading our way, and they are the hunter ninjas that specializes in killing bloodline users. They will not fight fair, and they are very strong, Zabuza said, and now, Haku and Naruto looked a bit scared. We have to kill them to survive this. Gozu, Meizu, and you, Zabuza pointed to Aki. Protect the ship. This will be very hard and expect a lot of exploding tags and high-powered water techniques. The three of them nodded. You and you will follow me. We're going to do something about the boats, Zabuza said to Susumu, Nao and Haku. And me? But Haku said nervously. You're going to have to use your powers. Either you kill them, or they will kill you, and your friends. Do you want that? Zabuza asked, and Haku shook her head. Good, now get ready. Don't you think that this is overkill? Masanori asked Owl, who shook his head. No, sir. If I must say, we're being outnumbered 20 to 22, if they didn't kill the Cuminans, 25, Owl said. But it's not like the bloodline children can fight, Masanori said. They are still the enemy, and we have to assume that our enemy is capable of fighting, children or not. Especially when there's ninja children like Hatake Kakashi, Owl stated, and Masanori shuddered. Hatake Kakashi, the prime example that a child can be a powerful ninja during the Third Ninja World War. Right. Sir, Eagle, who was driving the boat, said. Enemy's water running towards us. Masanori squinted his eyes to have a better view of the ocean, and sure enough, he saw 3 figures water running towards them. Should we hit them with our boats? Eagle suggested. No, that would be very dangerous. Spread out and circle, the Masanori couldn't finish when the attack started. Cuminans, I want you to attack using your lightning arsenal on the first left and right boats. Make them swerve towards the center of the formation. Zabuza ordered. His executioner sword's tip was cutting the surface of the ocean from his running. Now growled but complied anyway. The 4 interceptor boats were moving in a line position towards them. Susumu and Nao then flashed their hand seals and initiated their techniques. Lightning technique. Lightning stream. The Cuminans chanted and sent a stream of thick lightning from the palm of their hand. The lightning stream almost hit the boat, but they attacked from an angle that they have no choice but to swerve towards the center boats. The boats almost hit each other but managed to regain their control, but they were closer than before. The boats are getting closer, however. Haku, I want you to cast a large spiky ice field in front of us, now. Zabuza ordered, and Haku, who was piggybacking Zabuza, hesitantly nodded. The scale of ice that Zabuza wanted from her will be the biggest one she has ever done yet, and it will strain her. But she has to do it. Haku then focused, trying to remember the feeling that she had when she was forced to defend herself from her father and the mob. But this time, instead of the feeling of fear, she felt the determination to protect her newfound freedom and friends. A large part of the ocean in front of them suddenly froze and large ice spikes shot upwards. The boats were caught by surprise and slammed towards the ice-spiked field. The second boat from the left hit a raised curved ice rock and was sent spinning towards the air. Susumu noticed this and threw large amounts of exploding kunais towards the ship. It hit various parts of the boat, the deck, the bottom, and even some unlucky ninja. The exploding kunai exploded and destroyed the ship along with its passengers. 5 down, Susumu said triumphantly. The first boat from the right slammed a thin sheet of ice and smashed through it but flew a little towards the air. Now also threw his exploding kunais, but the Kiri ninjas in the boat fared better, and 4 jet skis and a ninja jumped out from the exploding boat and sped towards their ship. The jet ski-less ninja sped towards the ice field, taking cover there. Damn it! Now cursed. The first boat on the left hit a rather thin sheet of ice and went through it, and resumed normal speed, leaving them. Shit! Susumu cursed. He failed to tag them with exploding kunais because he was busy destroying the flying boat just now. However, the final boat, the second boat from the right, had the worst. It slammed into a very thick ice and was stopped immediately with a sickening crash. 5 killed, 9 escaped, 6 left. This isn't good for the ship, Zabuza summarized, and the 4 of them arrived at the large ice field while dodging falling spikes. Zabuza then set Haku down. Hide yourself, but be ready to kill. Understand? Haku nodded tiredly. Making the ice field was taxing for her. Take this, it'll help, Zabuza said, and handed her a chakra pill, and she ate it wordlessly, and she walked away to hide herself. You guys are a fucking pain in the ass, you know that? A voice said. Masanori with 5 Kiri Hunter ninjas appeared on top of the boat wreckage, and they were unharmed. It seems that they managed to escape on the last minute. Masanori then drew out his Hiramikari and stabbed it into the boat. The rest of you, handle the Cuminans. Zabuza is mine, Masanori ordered. The Kiri ninjas nodded and sped towards different direction. The Cuminans did the same and left Zabuza with Masanori alone. So Masanori started. How have you been? Masanori then dashed forward and slashed Hiramakerii at Zabuza. Zabuza blocked it with his own sword. Fine, before you came along, Zabuza replied and pushed Masanori away. Ditto, Masanori replied. Naruto watched as an interceptor boat was heading towards them while 4 jet skis accompanying it. Oh boy, oh boy. They're here, Naruto said anxiously. Don't worry, we'll protect you, Aki said and put a hand on his shoulder while giving him a reassuring smile. It seemed like she doesn't mind about being knocked out and tied earlier. Naruto nodded with a smile. Get ready! They're going to throw lots of exploding kunais. Don't let them stick to the ship. Meizu ordered and the 3 ninjas began to spread out around the ship to better protect it. Naruto knew he must do something, and it is time to use his powers offensively again. It was kind of hard because for 3 months he has been training on mainly how to suppress his chakra as not to harm himself and others when touching him. He hasn't started on offensive techniques yet as the Terumi wanted for him to have excellent chakra control first. But now he has to start being on the offensive. That would be easier than you think, kid, Kyubi said. Oh hey. I thought you were sleeping or something since it has been a while since you talked to me, Naruto mentally said. Because there isn't much for me to talk to you at that time. You were handling the situation quite well. I'm impressed, Kyubi said again. Oh, thanks, Naruto thought. Anyway, remember that unlike the others, your powers are based on your emotions and instincts rather than hand seals, Kyubi said and Naruto nodded. So I must feel the need to eliminate my threat, Naruto thought again, and Kyubi replied with a HN. Alright, here goes, Naruto said and pointed a finger towards the incoming interceptor, and he could see the driver, a lizard ninja. Naruto focused his thought, thinking that the lizard ninja was a threat to his life. The boat was coming closer, and his heart started to pound faster. Arcs of lightning began to appear from his body and started to focus on his finger. A small ball of lightning started to form on his fingertips and shot out, lightning bullet, towards Lizard. The hunter ninja was very surprised at the attack as it was way faster than normal lightning chakra attacks. He couldn't react fast enough and the lightning bullet burned through the windshield and into his head before exploding into arcs of lightning, destroying the head completely. Lizard's body twitched violently before dropping to the floor and the boat slowed down. Yes, Naruto said. His victory is short-lived however, as 4 jet skis jumped out from the boat and sped towards the ship. Multiple exploding kunais shot out from the sides of the ship, courtesy of Gozu, Meizu and Aki towards the incoming attackers. Explosions rocked the seas and signaled the start of the battle. Susumu was having a bad day. He already knew that getting involved with Nao was a bad idea. But he was roped into it with the pretext that it would help the bloodline children. He didn't think that Nao was going to sell them to Gato. This was because he wasn't sure if Gato would sell them to Kumo. He could sell them to other villages with the highest bid. Susumu, although his exterior might say otherwise, was a kind-hearted man. He wouldn't step on a fly if he could help it. But now, things are looking very bad. The children and him could get killed. And even if they survived this, they could be under new management, Momochi Zabuza. Who knew if the demon was any better than the rest of Kiri? So now he has to fight against the Kiri hunter ninjas and later if need, Zabuza. He wasn't sure if he would live after that, but he'll try. And he got to fight 3 Kirinins too. Yay! Susumu drew out his large sword. It was an oversized normal-looking double-edged sword. Say what you will of the size, but he was not compensating for something. He used large swords because he can and it was effective against tiny swords. He killed countless ninjas who used normal swords of weak material with just 1 slash. The first Kirinin, Crow, dashed towards him with his own katana held out. Crow was more likely the bait to draw his attention while the rest was waiting for a chance to attack from far or put traps. As soon as Crow was in striking range, Susumu slashed vertically from the top at him. Crow then immediately backpedaled backwards to avoid the sword. Susumu raised an eyebrow but didn't let it bother him anymore. Crow, however, expected for the large sword to crash down on the ice. He would then jump on the sword, hoping to cause it to get stuck, rendering the Kumanin swordless, and ran along the sword and attack him. But Susumu wasn't a mindless sword-swinging simpleton. He was a Jounin sword master from Kumogakure, one of the 2 hidden villages to specialize on sword mastery. His strike was true, and not wasteful. Susumu's sword stopped halfway and was now pointed at Crow's stomach and Susumu lunged forward, impaling him in the middle of the stomach. Crow was shocked and held the sword with both of his hands but sadly, unable to get a grip because of its width. Susumu then brought his sword downwards, splitting his crotch in the process. Crow screamed at the unholy pain he was feeling, and Susumu also cringed at the sight. Susumu then, with a quick motion, decapitates the now eunuch ninja. He would like for him to feel the pain longer, but he couldn't afford his friends to rescue him. Large wave of fire raced towards him, and Susumu jumped away, and the flame consumed the dead Kiranin. It was sad at how little his friends respected him after death. That or death by flames was much better than castration and decapitation. Susumu, while in midair, looked back at where he was going to land and saw explosive notes, set to detonate once he's in proximity. Fuck. Susumu then brought his sword to cover himself, the flat surface facing him and the explosive notes. That was the perk of having an oversized sword. His was wide enough to cover his body and acts as a shield. The notes exploded once he was near, and the blast propelled him forwards. He was lucky that the notes exploded on proximity and not contact. It would hurt him more if it was the latter. He was in midair again, and there was a large amount of razor-sharp wires in his trajectory, and was ready to slice him into ribbons. He then slashed his sword vertically again, but it was a mistake. Before his sword could touch the wires, it slacked and the ends of the wires moved to surround him. The Kirinins expected for him to do what he did, and he fell into their trap like a mouse. The wires then wrapped around his body, but not before Susumu coated himself with lightning chakra. The lightning chakra didn't cut, however, and instead traveled along the wires. If it were normal rope, it would have been cut to pieces. The wires tightened for a moment, and cut into his skin before it loosened as his lightning chakra deterred his assailants. As soon as he was free, Susumu dropped his sword and substituted with the charred corpse of Crow below him. Susumu appeared on the slightly melted ground while his sword still in the air, and the charred corpse were pinned with multiple exploding tags. The poor corpse exploded in a shower of blood and meat. The thing about Kirinins assigned to down ships was that they have loads of explosive notes. The Kirinins saw that he was swordless and took the chance to engage him in close combat. Bear appeared and slashed downwards at Susumu with his kunai, but before it could hit anything, Susumu brought his hand to block it. However, his block wasn't aimed at the blade but rather the fingers on the handle. His arm connected with the fingers with a sickening crack, and Bear involuntarily released the kunai. Susumu caught the short sword while Bear stumbled backwards and jumped away. However, Eagle appeared behind him and stabbed through his kidney with a katana. Susumu held the bloody blade with his free hand, pulled it forward and brought Eagle closer towards him. Eagle couldn't react fast enough, and Susumu stabbed Eagle's kidney multiple times before finally stabbing and holding on to him. Karma's a bitch, huh? Eagle violently coughed blood, and Susumu then quickly spun on the spot, and Eagle, who was still holding to his katana and pinned by Susumu, was caught in the momentum. Eagle was now facing Bear, and Susumu's sword sliced him through the head on its way down, cutting him in half. Susumu grunted in pain at the maneuver that he just did. Bear then took this opportunity to appear in front of Susumu, wanting to exploit his moment of weakness. However, Susumu expected this and broke the katana on his stomach with his hands and stabbed forward with all his might. The blade hit Bear's throat and went through while his kunai slashed horizontally at Susumu's own throat. However, Susumu stabbed with such force that his hand hit Bear's throat and pushed him backwards a little bit. This caused Bear's slash to hit his throat, but it wasn't too deep to cut it open, only to cause a small cut. A small trickle of blood flowed from Susumu's mouth and neck, but it didn't bother him yet. Susumu then pushed Bear away and took out the broken katana from his throat. Bear then, as a last act of defiance, threw his kunai at Susumu's heart. Susumu was a little bit slow to catch it, and the kunai hit his left arm. Bear then stopped moving and fell to his knees, dead. Weaponless or not, you should never engage a close-range specialist in melee. Now you owe me big time, Susumu said and sat on the floor. Now's day started from good, and now it turned sour like rotten foods. If he had known, he should have stayed back at home with his lottery winning. What the hell drove him to do to this in the first place anyway? Ah, yes, the debts. You see, Now was a compulsive gambler. They say that it would get worse before it turned good, and Now was in that kind of situation. He got shitload of debts that would leave a dent on his lottery winning, and as usual, he figured he could gamble again by doing something very risky. And you get the idea of what happened next. Now pulled out his two kunais and held one in reverse grip and the other with normal grip. His kunais was different from normal kunais in that each has wrists strapped to allow him to cast ninjutsus without having to store them. Come out wherever you are, Now said to his surroundings. His enemies had hid themselves quite well among the numerous ice spikes littered around the ice field. It seems that they knew his forte was close-range combat. Smart. Good for them, but bad for him. Numerous exploding kunais rained on him from two sides. Oh shit! Now cursed and ran quickly from the soon-to-be-exploding ice field. Explosions were everywhere, sending numerous shockwaves and ice shards everywhere. Now was thrown on the floor harshly, but he managed to cover his face from the incoming ice shards. Thankfully, some of the ice shards were already melting when it hit him. The ice field where he started just now was replaced by a large hole that gave access to the ocean waters. Now immediately got up to his feet as Al crashed down with an overhead tanto slash. Now blocked with one of his kunai while the other was aimed to stab at him. Al saw this and brought out another tanto to block it. Both combatants locked blades for a moment before Al pushed Nao's blade away, breaking the blade lock. Nao and Al both then slashed at each other furiously, attacking while defending, parrying while thrusting and slashing their blades at each other. Numerous sparks flew from the clashing of their blades and then blood. Both combatants managed to cut each other, but the wounds aren't too deep. Just grazes. Suddenly, a large dragon made of water emerged from the water hole and rushed towards them. Both combatants jumped away quickly, but the dragon gave chase to Nao. Nao had just landed on the side of an ice spike before he has to jump away as the dragon crashed into it and resumed the chase. Nao landed on another ice spike and this time jumped towards the dragon. He then threw an exploding kunai into it and caused the head to explode while he ran on top of its body. The remainder of the water technique crashed towards the ground and Nao landed safely. Falcon suddenly crashed through the ice a few feet in front of Nao with a katana slashed horizontally at him. Nao jumped and spun backwards and his blades met Owl's blades who had just appeared behind him. Falcon got to his feet and slashed at Nao's back. Nao jumped to his left and the sword missed. He then threw down smoke bombs at the two Kirinins. Falcon jumped away but Owl dashed forward at Nao and resumed his attack and Nao couldn't even land before he has to parry the attacks. The two traded blows again before Owl managed to kick him in the gut and send him reeling backwards. Falcon landed on Owl's shoulder and jumped at Nao with an overhead slash. Nao released his kunais and steeled himself for what he was about to do. "Hope this works," Nao said and grabbed the katana's blade with both of his hands and with all of his might, he broke the blade. He then gripped the broken blade with a hand while the other hand shot forward and gripped Falcon's hand that was holding the katana. Falcon was too surprised at what Nao just did. Rarely anyone did that as it was very dangerous. If you failed to catch the blade, it will split your head. Too early, and it will cut your hand. Even if you did catch it, there was risk of injury too as evidenced by Nao's bleeding hand. Nao took advantage of Falcon's shock and slashed at his throat and stabbed him in the heart with the blade. Blood spilled in large amounts and Nao kicked Falcon away. Owl jumped over Falcon's body and landed behind Nao and slashed downwards. Nao managed to spin backwards just in time to block the attack and sparks flew when both blades met. Nao stepped backwards a bit, and Owl stepped forward, his right hand with the tanto speared at his stomach. The attack hit his stomach and Nao, with a reverse-gripped kunai, stabbed at Owl's arm and prevented him from pulling away his tanto. Nao then counterattacked with his own stab using his right hand with a normal grip kunai, aimed at his throat. Owl then stabbed Nao's offending arm with his own tanto, and it went through and managed to stop Nao's kunai before the tip hit his throat. However, Nao wasn't finished and poised his kunai upwards and stabbed Owl's lower jaw. He then flared his wind chakra through his kunai, and the twisting wind blade-laced kunai grinded the inside of his head. A few seconds later, Owl went limp and his body dropped to the floor. "Fuck, I should have stayed at home," Nao said and collapsed to the floor. Hawk was speeding across the water on his jet ski towards the ship, ready to throw some exploding kunais at it. Before he could do that, however, Gozu and Meizu jumped out from the water with a chain made of shuriken between them. He failed to react quickly enough as the sharp chain snagged him and threw him off his jet ski. Before he could hit the water though, Gozu and Meizu crossed each other and wrapped the chain around Hawk and immediately tightened it and cut him into half. "One down. 7 more," Gozu said and jumped on his brother's arm. Meizu then, with all his might, pushed his brother towards Hawk's driverless jet ski. Gozu shot forward and managed to land it on the jet ski. He then took hold of the steering handle with one hand and pulled his brother with his other hand that has the gauntlet with the chain. Meizu jumped and on the air, he was pulled by his brother towards the jet ski. He landed on his shoulder and disconnected the chain and jumped towards the ship's side next. Gozu then drove away while spinning his chain on the air like a cowboy. "Yeha! I'm coming, you girls cows!" Gozu screamed. Meizu could only shook his head. On the other side of the ship, Monkey sped his jet ski full speed towards the ship and hit a particular bumpy wave. It was what he wanted and the wave sent his jet ski to the air. He then stuck an explosive tag at his jet ski and kicked it towards the ship. Before he landed on the water, he threw a smoke bomb to conceal himself. Aki knew what Monkey intended to do and flashed her hand seals. "Not on my watch, fucker!" Lightning technique. Lightning stream. The lightning stream hit the jet ski and it exploded. A large number of kunai shot from the smoke towards Aki, and she deflected it with her own thrown kunai. The smoke cleared and Monkey ran towards the ship and began to cast his technique with a large number of hand seals. Aki's heart started to pound faster, and knowing what technique Monkey intended to do, she was about to throw more kunais when a large lightning struck the water and electrocuted Monkey. Monkey then exploded into water and Aki raised an eyebrow at this. The real Monkey floated a second later from the water. It seemed that the clone Monkey was a distraction, and the real Monkey even gave him real kunais as not to reveal him too early. The real Monkey was swimming underwater to stick exploding tags beneath the ship. Had he succeeded, all is lost. Aki looked towards the source of the lightning and saw Naruto, who was grinning at him. Fortunately, they have him. 6 more, Naruto said, and Aki nodded. Back to Gozu, it was surprising really on how he could drive the jet ski with one hand, dodging projectiles thrown at him while swinging his chain overhead. Even more surprising was the fact that he was whipping projectiles from the air. Yeah. I'm the whip master. Dominatrix got nothing on me. Woo. Gozu screamed and Meizu almost face-palmed using his gauntlet and changed to his other hand. His brother can be stupid at times. Still, he got skill. Gozu. Meizu screamed and jumped towards him. Gozu realized this and whipped the chain at him, wrapping around his brother's gauntlet, and threw him at an unsuspecting dolphin, who was riding his jet ski without hands. He was apparently busy casting a technique. Meizu flew towards Dolphin and shot his gauntlet arm forward. The clawed gauntlet connected with Dolphin's skull and took him off the jet ski. Meizu slid on the water surface before throwing away Dolphin's lifeless body away. 5 left, Meizu said before a jet ski jumped at him. Meizu stopped channeling chakra to his feet and he sunk into the water. The jet ski crashed and skidded across the water surface a few times before it stopped and sank into the water too. Meizu emerged quickly with his gauntlet hand speared at a Kiranin. Cat blocked it with his tanto, but Meizu gripped it and wrenched it away. Meizu then pulled out his kunai and stabbed at Cat, but she blocked it with her hand. Her other free hand then pulled out an explosive tag and she tagged Meizu's gauntlet before jumping away. Bitch! This gauntlet is hard to come by, Meizu said and threw his gauntlet at Cat, who kicked it back. Oh, little pussycat got humor. Meizu dived back into the water to avoid the explosion. He then casted his technique and a water torrent, water launch, shot him out of the water at great speed towards Cat again. The two met and exchanged blows with each other. Meizu punched her on the chest, which was cushioned by her somewhat sizable breasts, and Cat punched him on the stomach. Cat then tried to knee him on the groin, but Meizu brought his legs together and pinched her leg before it reached the target. Ah, Meizu said before punching her hard in the left eye. The punch shattered her mask and sent shards into her eyeball. Cat was thrown backwards and she fell on her back on the ocean floor while screaming. Meizu jumped and kneed her on the stomach. Cat coughed violently as the wind was knocked out of her, and Meizu gripped her head and submerged it underwater. Cat tried to break free, but Meizu held her arm with his other hand to prevent her from submerging her whole body to escape. Cat's other hand frantically reached into her kunai pouch and stabbed Meizu on the leg before she went limp. 4 to go, Meizu said and broke Cat's neck for good measure and jumped away. On Aki's side, she was facing Tiger, who was speeding towards the ship. You're unlucky that water's my first element, Aki said and flashed through her hand seals. Water technique, whirlpool. Aki casted and a small whirlpool appeared and swallowed Tiger's jet ski. Tiger would have joined too, but he jumped away at the last moment. He was in midair and was about to land on the side of the ship when Aki jumped and kicked him. Tiger blocked it with a cross guard and was pushed away, but later found out that Aki had put an exploding note on the bottom of her leg before kicking him and transferred the exploding note to his hand. Tiger couldn't remove the note quick enough and it exploded, taking his arms with it. Tiger fell into the water, screaming while bleeding like a fountain. Aki landed a few feet away from him and flicked a kunai to his head, silencing him immediately. 3 left. A loud motor noise came from her left, and she immediately jumped and did a backflip, avoiding a katana slash from Boar. She landed, but before she could do a counter-attack, she had to jump away again to avoid being hit by Gozu. Out of my way, Gozu said while dragging his chain across the water. Boar then turned around to face Gozu, his katana cutting the surface of the water. Come on! Gozu yelled and whipped his chain at Boar, who slashed it with his katana. Boar's katana didn't cut the whip but instead wrapped around it. Gozu then smiled as the katana was on Boar's right hand, and so he sped his jet ski towards Boar's left side. Boar noticed this and jumped off from his jet ski. The jet ski almost hit Gozu, who managed to avoid it at the last minute. Boar landed and pulled on the chain hard and it snagged Gozu off from his jet ski. Oh shit! Gozu cursed as he was sent flying towards the air towards Bor. Bor then prepared himself for a slash that would cleave Gozu in half when he was near. However, before he could do this, a voice can be heard that changed everything. Water technique, water tentacles. Aki said, and numerous tentacles made of water emerged and latched onto his limbs, restricting him, for a while. Aki channeled more chakra and the water tentacles ripped Bor's limb from his body. Gozu had the unfortunate luck to smash into Bor's body, which was suspended for a moment, and send it flying a few feet away, screaming like mad at the intense pain. What the fuck? Gozu quickly got up and screamed. You just... I what? Aki asked and put a hand on her hip. Gozu looked at her for a moment before speaking. You're hot, Gozu said, almost drooling, which caused Aki to scowl and turn away. Not now, moron, Aki said. Suddenly, another jet ski sped towards them. This time, two-person was on board, struggling to throw each other off and gain control of the jet ski. After a short fight, Meizu managed to pin Rabbit's hand on the jet ski and tagged him with an explosive note before jumping away from the explosion. Where's the last one? Meizu asked after he landed near them. I dunno, didn't see him, Gozu said, and the three of them stared at each other for a second before running towards the ship. Naruto were busy looking over the battlefield, checking to see if there's anyone needed his help. But they were doing rather fine actually. He just hoped that the rest were doing fine, especially Haku. He didn't realize that Viper had managed to get on board the ship and was walking towards him and unsheathed her kunai. One more, where are you? Naruto said to himself. Right behind you, Viper said and slashed at him. Luckily for Naruto, his reflexes were a bit faster ever since he got zapped and managed to evade, albeit he got a small cut on his arm. Naruto then stumbled away while nursing his bleeding arm. I'm going to have my fun killing you monsters, Viper said again and lunged at him. She managed to topple him onto the floor and stab her kunai at him. The kunai almost hit Naruto's eyes, but he blocked it with his hand and the kunai pierced through. The pain combined with the fact that she called him a monster was enough to anger him and send a powerful lightning chakra through her system. Viper screamed for a few seconds before she went silent and limp. Naruto pushed her away before taking deep breaths while looking at the clear blue sky. That makes 9. Haku, I hope you're safe. Masanori attacked with an overhead slash which Zabuza parried with his sword. The two locked swords for a moment before Zabuza released a hand from his sword and punched Masanori in the face. Masanori staggered backwards and Zabuza slashed horizontally at him, but Masanori managed to shield his body with his sword, sending him backwards and creating 2 small trenches from his feet. Damn it, I hate that fact about you and the other swordsmen, Masanori said. You guys must have 8 fish-eating steroids or something to be able to hold your sword with just one hand. Zabuza grunted at him. Shows how different you are from the rest of the swordsmen, Zabuza said. The truth is, Masanori was a junior member of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri. He only joined the organization about a year ago. Compared to the other swordsmen's service year to the group, Masanori's was pretty much a rookie to them. The sad thing about the 7 swordsmen of Kiri was that the swords are much more valuable than the user. The user can be replaced, but not the swords. As such, the title was often transferred along with the sword, and the sword can be passed in 2 ways. Either willingly or not. Masanori gained his by killing Hiramikari's previous owner, Mangetsu. It wasn't a fair fight, of course, and for Kiri, it was justified as Mangetsu was a bloodline user. Still, doesn't change the fact that my sword is much stronger than yours, Masanori said and channeled wind chakra through the sword. A large axe made from wind emerged from the sword and Masanori slashed vertically at Zabuza, who jumped away. The ice field was split into 2 as the wind axe hit the ice floor. Zabuza grunted again. Another thing about the 7 swords of the swordsmen of Kiri was that each sword has their own perks and disadvantages. His sword, the executioner sword, was rather weak when compared to the other swords. The sword looked normal, and one glance at it, people will thought of it as just an oversized sword with a hole in it. However, it has a special ability, able to repair itself by using the blood of its victim. It was generally a maintenance-free sword. Aside from that, not much. Hiramikari, however, was known as the elemental sword. While another sword, Kiba, the twin swords, or also known as the thunder swords, were also able to channel elemental chakra but only lightning.